All right. I am live here like a moron with no viewers, but that's okay because we're going to post this here in a second. We're going to thumb some out. We're doing the post game show here. Yeah, so we're going to just make sure that we do a proper share. And then we're gonna do some post game stuff. We're gonna do some post podcast shenanigans. Really, I felt like Zoe was ready to go. He had the baby crying, so we're gonna have a little fun here. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna give you guys a second to get here. All five of you guys, hey, hello, join the chat. Let's talk a little bit. We're gonna talk some more. We got Mr. Hand, Mr. Pete, Aloha Pete, gonna join us here here in a little bit too. So we're gonna have Aloha Mr. Hand join me for some post Pinwheels and Ivy podcast shenanigans as we kill the time between Pinwheels and Ivy and from the 108. We need to keep going. You guys at 7 o'clock. What the hell else are you guys going to do? You're not drunk enough. Neither am I. It's 5 p.m. So let's talk some Let's talk some baseball. You got some questions? Anything? We could talk Bears, Cubs, Bulls. I don't even know. You want to talk philosophy? We want to talk about Mortal Kombat's trailer today that came out. I don't even care. We're here to talk. This is now pop culture time. So we can talk about everything. We want to talk about, are you drunk enough, Alex? What we really need is Beer Garden Jim to join us to talk about what kind of beers he's drinking right now. But we'll take it. We'll take it as we are. And maybe I can't guarantee that Zoe's makeup table is going to join us. But if you weren't here on the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast, we discussed quite a few interesting items. White Sox, obviously, talking about the Tony La Russa press conference. I'm curious what everybody else thinks. Maybe what was the best joke you guys heard yesterday? Because since Zoe is totally done with the jokes, I am not done with the jokes. I think they're hilarious. Beat the dead horse. It's hilarious. He could take it. He's an old horse. He doesn't give a shit. Oh, it's tax season. That's right. Yeah. I have a couple of accountant friends too. They're miserable right now, but I'm going to go ahead and tweet it a little bit real quick. I'm going to make sure we can get as many people to join us as possible. What's your questions? Let's talk some baseball. Let's talk some sports. Anything. We don't have to talk about just baseball. We can talk about all baseball, not just Cubs, Sox, but pretty pumped. I didn't get to tell you guys this on the podcast in the hour because Zoe decided he was going to run off to the crying baby. But next week, we have a really special guest joining us on the Pinwheels podcast. We're going to have Justin Roman from Styles and Roman, the MC for the Chicago Bulls. He's going to be joining us. He's thrown out the first pitch at Wrigley twice. He's sung "Take Me Out the Ball Game" twice, and he's a great friend from high school. So next week's show is going to be really fun because we're going to have Justin on. J. Rowe is going to be joining us and we're going to talk a little bit about his podcast or his new Fans Only with his girlfriend, Kenzie. But Justin's a dude I've known forever. So it'll be pretty fun. So tune in next week, Thursday at 5 p.m. Central to hang out with Jay Roman too. Again, like I said, great dude. We were high school teammates and yeah. So my friend Frank, which Frank? The one that I stole this shirt from? Oh wait, that's right. That's a little Billy Madison joke. Hold on real quick. Join me. I'm now Aloha doesn't get a choice. I can mediate now. You guys should totally talk socks, and I could just totally mediate. Ooh, that works. There we go. All right. There you go, Luke. And by the way, I'm stoked that you bought that romper. Having a romper is good. So did any of you guys get a chance to watch? Okay, I'm gonna nerd out on this. Okay, so if you're sticking around and you came for only baseball, I apologize. ADHD doesn't allow me to do that, but I'm really curious. Have you guys seen this new Mortal Kombat trailer? Honestly, the last time Mortal Kombat I even gave a shit about Mortal Kombat was it 1994 when the dude that ended up directing Resident Evil directed it or whatever, and then met Mila Jovovich, which I'm proud of him for that. But that's pretty sweet. At one point, literally Sub-Zero cuts a guy's throat, grabs his spurting blood, freezes said spurting blood, turning it into a blood dagger, and then stabs the guy with his own blood dagger, which is really just a lot going on. So that's one of those HBO Max straight to theaters and thing releases, whatever. But anywho, I probably should have gotten an ice cube before I started this, but now it's just warm whiskey and no water. Oh no, I have water right here, so we can keep talking about this. So I guess we'll jump into a little bit. I'm kind of killing a little bit of time till Pete gets here because obviously it's much easier to play tennis with two people. Ping pong against the wall is nothing but Forrest Gump in a hospital. So I'll just try not to be as much Forrest Gump as I am ping pong player, which I am an excellent ping pong player. which, by the way, if you know, in other countries, it's also called ping pong. So, but you know, any questions you guys got? Any guys what do you want to talk about? Let's talk some stuff. Let's talk some stuff. You know, we had a couple questions. I didn't get a chance to tell my Frank Thomas story. And so my Frank Thomas story from Sunday was really special. I don't know if I want to wait for Pete on that, because I was texting Pete like a little girl. It was the first time in my life, though, that I've actually had to text my former players who are professional baseball players to ask them how I'm supposed to say hello. I know it sounds really weird, but Sunday, obviously, as a good boyfriend should, I took my girlfriend. I made a reservation 8 weeks ago. 8 weeks ago, no kidding. This is before Christmas. I made a reservation in this place here in Las Vegas called Le Cave, or the Cave in French. It happens to be the location of what used to be a club called Le Bet. Now, Le Bet is the only club I've ever been kicked out of. I did a table dive into the VIP section when, I don't know, like 2005. So I was kicked out. It was pretty fun though. It was awesome. It was just I literally did a Chris Farley, Tommy Boy, over the table. I thought I leaned back. Anyway, so now it's called the Cave. It's a really nice restaurant. And so we put in for some, my girlfriend wanted to do Valentine's Day brunch, which really, translation, she wanted to drink all day. So we make this reservation at Le Cave, and it's a beautiful, beautiful place. It's right up on a water. It's indoors, but it's glass ceiling, so everything's really nice. So we go to this place, Le Cave, and I'm pretty pissed off at this point. I was really pissed off because I called in ahead. I kind of bribed the girl that was doing the reservations to give us a window seat right on the water. It'd be romantic, and so they lead us into our table, and they lead us to this table like right next to right in the entrance to this like the aviary, and I'm like, this sucks. So I was pretty pissed. I'm like, really? I didn't pay, whatever. I'm really upset. I'm throwing a hit. I'm getting ready to like complain. And all of a sudden, my gaze turns to my right. And who is sitting at the table 8 feet outside of 6 feet, of course, for social distance. So 8 feet from me, Frank Thomas and his Valentine's Day date, the Big Hurt, sitting right next to me, eating the same brunch, eating the same cornflake crusted French toast that I enjoyed, ordering the same saltless margaritas that I was. And there he is on a Sunday, Valentine's Day. I took my girlfriend, tried to do the right thing and being a good boyfriend. And of course, there's big Frank sitting right next to us. So I was very starstruck. I didn't know what to do. So yes, I texted Chris. I texted Chase and Shreve. I'm like, dude, how do I? And the general consensus was leave him the hell alone. So I didn't even do any. I didn't even introduce myself until I left. When I left, I did the old, big fan, appreciate everything you've done. Thanks so much, man. And then I went away, and then I said, I'm just going to, because I want to be respectful. But to make a long story short, my girlfriend thought it was hilarious because she noticed that I started blushing more than I blushed after our first kiss. And I'm going to just tell you this, this is total creeper shit right here. I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest. Creeper shit. I listened, like I was eavesdropping. Like every time he was on his phone, he took a phone call. She went to the restroom, so like he was on his phone. Like when he got to go to the restroom, and there was a part of me that said, "Hey, follow him to the restroom," and that was a no. But she left too, and so I can tell you this, Sox fans, you could tell a hell of a lot about a guy by how they treat their food service, their servers, and their hostesses, and the people that take care of them at these places. And I can tell you right now that Frank Thomas is a class act indeed. His laugh was electric. He was funny. He was playful. He was respectful. I mean, he was so sweet to everybody that they were obviously, people were starstruck. They were like, oh my God. And there was actually a dude sitting at 3 tables over that I know is a Vegas stable, who is worth roughly like $455 million. And he was sitting a couple tables away, and nobody gave a shit. So just to see that Frank Thomas, just to see him kind of act that way, it was really kind of neat because you know what? He's one of the best baseball players of all time. And just to see that. So what is taking, oh, there he is. Oh God. I was telling that story and there he is. He had to let me finish the story. He's wearing a pitching ninja hat. Here he is. There's Mr. Hand. We got him.
Aloha. How's it going?
Good. I'm just telling the Frank Thomas story like an idiot. So
I have a Frank Thomas story that I certainly cannot tell on this channel. I could tell it to people face to face.
It's one of those you don't want to actually have documented on.
That is correct.
Film.
let's just say I went to see the White Sox play in Detroit. And as people are prone to do in Detroit, they cross the border. And I will just leave it at that.
Okay. So they pulled the old yeah.
And your boy here was quite inebriated when he ran into Mr. Thomas.
See, that made it hard for me on Sunday. I wasn't.
Yes.
I built into it though.
Yeah.
So the minute I heard him say, so this thing we went to, this breakfast at La Cave, and it was an all you can eat, like butler style breakfast. So a brunch. So like they brought around things and you could just take them off the thing. It was like almost like not hors d'oeuvres, like breakfast stuff, but not breakfast stuff. And then bottomless. Usually it's just mimosas, but this one was bottomless, like beer, wine, anything. Wow. So I'm like, gosh. So I had a mimosa, which usually gives me heartburn. And then I went immediately, I'm going to say this. Frank ordered a margarita, no salt. And I'm like, that sounds great, actually. Please, same thing. And so that was kind of like the whole thing. But the way he treated everybody, and I'm sure you saw him in a candid moment too. He's just a dude. Like he's just.
Well, this was in the 90s when he was going through his divorce. This is that who you saw him with is his second wife.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
The blonde.
Yes.
Okay, I sent you the picture. I did not post the picture publicly. I sent it to a few friends. I did a creep shot.
I have met her, and like you said, he is. To be honest with you, he is a different guy than he was when he was playing. Because I think
I can see that
he was just so laser focused on, the game and everything else. Now he's on the other side of the coin as far as being in the media and everything else. So he sees how the dynamic works between the two, because I've had the opportunity to meet him a couple times and he's always been very cordial. Obviously he's like, yeah, I'm a Hall of Famer. And I know most of these people here are just like, starstruck and everything else. So, hi, how you doing? That kind of thing.
He's, and those dudes, and this, and that's why I reached out to Chris. I'm like, God, these guys must hate eating. I mean, Michael Jordan had to eat in his own restaurant in a giant plexiglass soundproof, these guys, we don't have any idea as fans, like how annoying it is to be sitting there and having like, especially Valentine's Day. Like I was like, sorry, like holy crap, but I'm going to tweet and freak out.
Or family time.
Family time is
that's when they get upset. Is especially if their kids are around, and it's like, hey, I'm trying to be the good dad here. Don't mess with me and everything else, and most people are respectful, but I do know some people who, well, he's out, so I'm going to go get his autograph. You already got 10 autographs from him, for God's sakes. What's the 11th going to do for you?
And for these guys to think, and I don't think they care as much, but they do know that they're Herbie Hancock.
Yeah.
Pays somebody's bills. Like they're going to sign a baseball and somebody's going to pawn that baseball off on somebody and make a profit off of just something they used to do every day before you started, you did your essay in English class as a sophomore in high school.
Yeah, exactly.
That boggles my mind, by the way. That's the hard part that I have. I'm not really good. So you put me in a room with a bunch of baseball players or professional basketball. You put me in you put me in a room with a professional athlete.
Yeah,
I can hang out. I'm fine.
Oh yeah.
You put me in a press conference. I can ask questions. I'm not intimidated. But when you ask me to like, when you say, hey, dude, you should get a picture with him, like those things, asking for autographs, taking pictures with, not even just celebrities too. Like again, my girlfriend does PR. Like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire life was watching, oh goodness, what's her name? Katie Holmes, at one of her events. Katie Holmes was it was a place called Black Top Burgers at the Venetian. And she walked out, no makeup. She was just casual, just wearing like a t-shirt and jeans, and I'm like, I'm dead. I'm dead. That's the most naturally beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, and no way. I'm not going to talk to her. I'm not going to, hello, nice to meet you. Can I, I can buy you a drink. I can hang out with you. Let's talk. And the same thing with these professional athletes. You give me a casual social situation or professional situation where we're talking sports, It's fine.
Right.
But the minute we get to the point where, like, again, this is my big thing with Chris too. I don't know how many million times I'm like, hey, can you give me a signed ball from Chris? Like, no.
Yeah.
Like, I have one. I have one signed baseball from Chris Bryant. And you know what I have? He gave it to me after his final game of his senior year, which it's even a more remote autograph than what he has now because it's his senior year signature. That's it. That's the only autograph I have of Chris Bryant. In that whole trophy case back there, I have a Chase and Shreve autograph on a baseball that was signed by his entire group when he was an incoming freshman. I have Chris's ball that he gave me, and then the rest are like balls that I got when I, for wins that I had. I have an Ernie Banks ball back there that I've had since I was like 8.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I don't do well with that kind of stuff. I'd rather actually share the experience and obviously I love storytelling. So like, it's with nowadays you need pictures. People don't believe that pictures happen. Mm-hmm. So,
well, it's funny because I've worked for some major financial institutions, Wall Street institutions included. I've sat in meetings and talked to some of the quote unquote titans of finance. One you may know who's very popular that they like to go after all the time. Has a last name similar to Diamond, but and they're always on guard, but they are as laid back as you would expect. And I relate that to like how the athletes are too. They're laid back, but they always have that one antenna up. Like what's going on around, who's around and everything else, because and I'll relate it to me, whatever. Being a bigger guy on the south side of Chicago, people got to realize I'm 6'3" and pretty tall, pretty big. A lot of the south side bars, there would always be a challenge from someone suffering from little man syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go take on the big guy here and show you how tough I am. And sometimes I partaked, sometimes I didn't. It was all.
I just have this mental picture of you beating ass.
But right now, it's like you're always on guard. What's that?
I have this mental picture of you just beating ass. Like today, no.
I
feel like today it's Thursday, so I'm gonna whoop a little ass.
Yeah, I have, and I've also had my ass beat too. I can admit that. There's been times where I probably bit off more than I could chew. Didn't expect what was coming, but that's sort of what it's like. You're always got that one antenna up, like what's coming here.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for these guys because, you hear all these stories about how everyone's a user. Everyone wants something.
Mm-hmm.
And, I always think of one run-in I had with a Hall of Fame football player, former running back for the Dallas Cowboys, who happened to play on the 1985 Cowboys. And we were both stuck in there. What's that?
Was it Hirsch?
No.
Wait, he even played for the Cowboys? Who?
Think Pitt.
Oh.
And Pitt and Heisman Trophy.
So not Herschel Walker.
No.
He didn't play for the Cowboys? Wait, hold on.
Yeah. This is before Herschel.
Yeah.
He played in the 44-0 game.
And,
yeah. And
you're talking about TD?
What's that?
TD?
Yes.
You're talking about, no.
Yes.
Okay.
He was in Chicago doing an autograph signing at Rosemont, and I was flying out to Dallas for work on a Sunday afternoon. Well, he had finished his thing and headed over to the airport. Our flight got delayed. We were on the same flight, so he sits next to me at a bar, and I'm like, yeah, he looks familiar. And you see a Super Bowl ring on one side, a Hall of Fame ring on the other. I'm like, and I just go, excuse me, are you Tony Dorsett? And he's like, yes, I am. Oh, cool. You flying to Dallas? Yeah. Well, so am I. So we started talking because we were in the same boat.
Sure. And but you weren't probing. You weren't trying to get personal. You were just being a normal conversation.
Yeah.
They're normal human beings. Like a conversation with a random stranger isn't a crazy thing, so long as this crazy stranger isn't trying to get something from it, just trying to have a conversation with a random person.
Right. And, we were talking, and he's
Good
like,
people.
"Oh, where are you headed?" And I was telling him where I was staying. And I had never been to Dallas at that point. This was my first time going out to Dallas. And I told him where I was staying, and he goes, "Oh, you're 3 blocks from Dealey Plaza." I'm like, "Oh, really?"
Kennedy, JFK.
Yep, exactly. He's like,
My favorite thing ever.
And he goes, "And I recommend you go check it out." I'm like, okay, cool. And so
He's not wrong.
but I had to ask him one question. I go, when I think of you, I think of one thing. And he says point blank, "Let me guess. Are you a Bears fan?" Yeah. He goes, 44-0. I said, "Yes." And he said, "It was like they had 15 guys coming after us that day." He goes, "We couldn't stop the bleeding." And I remember watching that game as a kid and just like, what the hell's going on? Where are these guys coming from? And he said it was just like a jailbreak. And he had mentioned that Danny White had a back surgery because of damage he sustained in that game. And I saw an interview with Danny White about 4 or 5 years ago. He said he had to have a second one because of damage he sustained specifically from that game. Oh, and I see someone asked a question about, let's see, Randall Longway Ferguson.
Yep, that's a good conversation right here.
Yeah, who will be Bears quarterback? Well, we know it won't be Mitch Trubisky
or Carson Wentz.
By the way, and it probably won't be Deshaun Watson.
Correct. Now stop there though. By the way,
yeah.
Now, those of you that are in here now, it's 20. We have 23 or whatever, 24 people watching right now. Those of you that are actually in this chat right now that watched the documentary last week, my documentary last week,
mm-hmm.
I feel like I have a joke in there that actually got funnier today. Because I made a joke about how Eagles fans are trying to convince everybody that Carson Wentz is worth 2 first-round draft picks. And what did he go for today? What even was it? What was the take?
Second. I think it was a second this year, and then a conditional in 22 based on 75%. He takes 75% of the snaps.
Okay,
the 2022 draft pick is conditional.
Holy shit, man, Jack.
Yeah.
Why is that not even popped into my head? But that would mean the Bears have to draft a quarterback. The Bears would have to draft a good quarterback early. Ryan Fitzpatrick is the perfect guy to come in. And you know what? The poor dude, Harvard grad, brilliant, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. Let the dude take over, and then he would accept if you said you're going to be the starter the whole season. Come here. I don't know how much Ryan Fitzpatrick has in the tank anyway, that like in the want category. But to know that he can play a whole season and not lose his job, he would play high level court. He's a cerebral guy, dude. Now, Mac, we need mediocre quarterbacks because we have an elite defense. Let's be real here. Eddie Goldman's
I wouldn't call the defense elite anymore.
Well, you would also call it more elite if it had Eddie Goldman there plugging too, though.
That's fair, but
huge. That's a Pro Bowler.
But I'll be honest with you. I am totally against trading draft picks, and here's the reason why. Because quarterback. If you get, let's just say, I'm going to use Deshaun Watson as an example.
Sure.
It's totally a pipe dream. But if you got Deshaun Watson, does he make this team a Super Bowl favorite? I don't think he does. Not because of his skill set, but you have holes in other areas. Who's going to block for him? Who's going to catch the ball? So I would say you trade first-round picks if you're one piece away and you're getting that piece.
If you were the Green Bay Packers last year, and they didn't.
Yes,
he drafted Jordan Love.
Yes, exactly.
And now they're going to let Aaron Jones walk. I mean, Dylan scares the shit out of me. By the way, AJ Dillon is a freak. So let's be honest here. It's not like we're robbing Peter to pay Paul here. That kid's going to be elite one day. But it's the same kind of concept. You look. Would I love to have Watson? Yeah. Would I? I mean, I would give 4 first-round picks for Russell Wilson. I would give up 4 first-round picks for Russell Wilson. Now.
If he was the one remaining piece, yes. But I just, to me, the game is won and lost on the lines. And I think there's, especially on the offensive side, I think there's too many holes where you're going to see Russell Wilson running for his life. Sort of like how Patrick Mahomes looked in the Super Bowl running for his life.
That's true.
Look what happened when, I forget the the left tackle's name who got injured in the AFC title game, but look what a difference that made for Kansas City.
Now,
And
also an incredible defensive line.
Yes.
I mean, but you have to beat that defensive line to get to the Super Bowl if you're the Bears anyway. So
yeah,
you got to stop them.
King Mac brings up the point they should have brought Winston in last year. I totally. I think
I had no problem with that.
Yeah, I think the Foles thing was incredibly stupid.
I wanted Teddy Bridgewater. I thought Teddy Bridgewater would have been
I wanted Winston. You know, I was like, bring one of these guys in because, again, to the point, you're not one player away. These guys would be a stopgap, and maybe they would do better. You know, be more mobile, not as stationary, and sort of become was it shooting fish in a barrel?
Yep,
that's sort of what it was like. I mean. Trubisky had some mobility. Foles has none.
But you know the worst part with Trubisky too, and look, I will still say this: Trubisky was misused. I think that Trubisky is going to be at least a league average quarterback somewhere.
Yes.
Eventually. Now, is he going to be elite? No, but if you pick a dude third or second, or you trade up like that, he's supposed to kind of be elite.
Yes.
But I don't ever again, and maybe it's just the Trubisky thing too. The fact that he's a class act. He never showed his ass. He always worked hard. Like if seriously, the worst thing you could find is "I love kissing titties" tweet from when he was like 12 years old. And frankly, all you've got on Mitchell Trubisky. So I'm sad to see him go. I wish it would have panned out for the kid, but it didn't.
If there's any ladies on here, sorry for what I'm about to say, but what's wrong with that?
Well, no, Mac, you know what? See. Stop using analytics, Mac. Use the eye test a little bit. The eye test is there. When you roll the kid out and you throw the kid on his right, the kid's good. But you know what's going to happen is Bill Belichick's going to get his hands on him, and we're going to all hate it. But the fact is, he's not ready. It's not a good fit with Matt Nagy. I'm not sure Matt Nagy's a good fit, but if we're going to do this, if we're going to play this game, you need somebody to come right in and bail Matt Nagy out. Matt Nagy needs someone to save his ass more than someone needs Matt Nagy to save their ass. And if Wentz was the pick, Nagy was saving his ass. Now you're bringing in someone that's going to save Nagy's ass. And so if you're going to you give up. I think you give up. See, here's me though. I think they're going to franchise Robinson and then sign Galladay. I think they're going to franchise and then trade Robinson and then they're going to sign Galladay. I feel like Galladay wants to play in Chicago. I feel like there's a couple of my buddies. They think that he likes Windy City, and nobody likes Detroit right now. It's not a great place to be. No offense to Jared Goff either. It's Detroit.
Well, yeah. I mean that franchise. I mean, you can look at the Bears and laugh, and they deserve to be laughed at for a lot of things.
But the Bears defense is good enough. The Bears could actually win a bunch of games 24-20, 17-13. Like they can win ugly, and they're like someone brought up the Browns earlier. The Browns' success was because they had a great line. They could grind it out. But they also, let's be honest, fuck that line. Okay, you take that line away. Nick Chubb is the best running back in football in space. But he's also the best after, like him and Derrick Henry, between the two of them. I think they said Derrick Henry, when he has the best yardage average in less space than any running back in football. So in other words, he's not getting the space that you'd think he's getting because he's exceptional. Yeah, his line's not given, but because he's so good at getting a lot with nothing, it makes that Browns line look much better. But it falls back on the fact that Baker Mayfield figured it out, and they learned how to call plays around Baker Mayfield, and he took his number one receiver that he had to like key in on out of the equation, and all of a sudden Baker Mayfield looked at the whole field. Yeah, he felt like Odell Beckham was going to stab him if he didn't like stare down Odell first. And A-Rob might be the same kind of guy. He needs to be fed. The squeaky wheel gets fed, right, or whatever.
Yes. Well, you know, I look at Nagy, and Nagy reminds me of Don Cooper so much. And I'll explain this.
I didn't know that, by the way. Did not know
I didn't either until I saw Luke.
That's awesome.
Posted that. And Jack, yes, O2 walks suck, just so you know.
Yes, they do. and 3-1 pop-outs also suck.
And it's funny, the O2 walks, because KFidds and I have talked specifically about O2 walks. And you provided me some feedback, but I want to get back to the Nagy-Cooper comparison. They are system guys. You have to fit into their system. they cannot coach to what that particular person brings to the table as their skill set. To Mac's point about Trubisky being below average, I think he could be, hasn't yet, he could be an average quarterback. Is he Patrick Mahomes? Is he Deshaun Watson? No chance. Never was, never will be. But I think if you had a coach who could understand what his game plan should be, rolling out, stuff like that, instead of being a traditional drop back passer, you might have a serviceable quarterback.
Serviceable.
And again,
with a stellar defense, serviceable is Trent Dilfer and a Super Bowl for the Baltimore Ravens. Like
Joe Flacco.
Well, I always think of Trent Dilfer, even though honestly, forever, I don't know if, you're old enough to remember this maybe, but a lot of our audience might not be. When Trent Dilfer was drafted, he did a draft day interview on ESPN, and I swear to God, he had so much Carmex on his fucking lips. His Carmex went from here all the way up and those people in Chicago when it gets cold as shit, they put Vaseline on their lips and shit and walk out looking like they're like, and I'm like, I can't watch this interview now. I don't even care. I mean, he might be the best person in the world. I'm done with you. You're wearing Carmex like it's a face mask, and that dude won a Super Bowl. Yeah,
and King Mac posed a question that I want to answer for him. It says, "You're a numbers guy in your career. What do you think about analytics in sports?" I think analytics serve a great purpose in sports, but not the only purpose in sports. Oh, hey, some feedback there.
That was some echo right there, huh?
But
I was leaning in too far.
Yeah. I think they serve a great purpose. I think it helps you fill in pieces of the puzzle, but it's not the whole puzzle.
Right.
There is something, in my opinion, to watching the player too. And I'm going to use a Cub guy. And, don't take this the wrong way. Aramis Ramirez.
Ooh, okay.
What would Aramis Ramirez do in April and May when the Cubs, in 2003? Well, he joined in mid-03, I think?
Mm-hmm.
2004, 2007, 2008. What did he do in April and May?
Nothing.
Right. And at the end of the year, what did he look like?
A beast.
Right. Exactly. And
law of averages.
Another one I'll use is Javi Vasquez. When the Sox, 2006, Javi Vasquez had the 5-inning thing. If he got through 5, don't send him out for the 6 because he's going to get lit up. 2007, the White Sox lose 90 games. He's a beast. He's out there. He's flinging it. He looks great. 2008, I remember this because I sat in the park on a Saturday night when they had to win against Cleveland in order to maintain pace with the Twins. And he just gave it up like a virgin on prom night.
I love that. I love that analogy, by the way.
So, I think numbers do.
I didn't give it up on prom night, so that's why I hope. I didn't give it up until the parking lot at Volcker Hall when I was a sophomore in college to the Christmas Macarena. But hey.
Right. And King Mac, you're absolutely right. We did name 3 remedial quarterbacks that won Super Bowls that had stellar, outstanding defenses. I totally agree we need a real quarterback. But right now, if they were to trade for – this is my opinion. If they were to trade for Deshaun Watson, I think they would set themselves back further because they wouldn't be able to fill in other pieces that they need to address at the same time. That's all I'm saying. I am not talking about the skill set of Deshaun Watson or anything else. It's a handcuff to pay Paul.
It's the handcuff. You can't pay a marquee wide receiver if you have the Deshaun Watson contract. You can't pay an offensive lineman. You're handcuffed. Look at the Green Bay Packers right now. The Green Bay Packers should be able to legitimately just dangle and sign J.J. Watt without even a second's thought. But they can't. You know why? Because they're stuck with Aaron Rodgers' contract.
Yes. They're
stuck with Devontae Adams, keeping Adams. They're going to lose Aaron Jones as a result of this, and they're still not going to get J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt's going to end up with the Browns. I'll be honest here again, and this is where my hot shit goes. I'm not done with the Raiders and Carr. And just based on what I know, It ain't done,
Well,
no matter what everybody says. And you're a season ticket holder, by the way. Hey.
Yes, I am. I am a Raiders season ticket holder. I heard on the radio today, and take it for what it's worth, that supposedly Carr is going nowhere. Mm-hmm. And to me, that can mean one of two things. Either Carr is going nowhere, or to use a line from Hitch, try harder, dummy.
Yep. And therein lies what I'm trying to say is I have a – okay, so –
yeah.
Hold on. I got to share this because I want to make sure people join us. I have a friend. I'm just going to call him Sticky Hands. We're going to call him Sticky Hands. I'm going to call him Sticky Hands. Yeah, I'm going to call him Sticky Hands. Sticky Hands has been around a little bit. He's a little old. He's a lot older than me, but he's a friend I made who lives here in Vegas now. Vegas. Like his son is actually a high school football coach. Fantastic. He is a Raiders guy down the line. Like he's I'll just not the name drop, and I'm not name dropping who it is, but this individual has both introduced me to Mark Bedane, who's the president of whatever Raiders operations, and Mark Davis, who's the owner.
Al's kid.
In fact, Sticky Hands, Sticky Hands, his wife, and another. He was actually a sports handicapper here in Vegas, and then Bedane and Bedane's date, and then a couple other Raider brass. He introduced me to all of them. We all had cocktails together right before what's called the Power of Love Gala here in Las Vegas. Now I'm gonna really name drop. That's the same night I hung out with Snoop and stole a bunch of bottles of
Cristal.
Yep. I have a picture of his dressing room, by the way.
Yeah.
Before he got there, and it's beautiful. Yeah. His rider list was excellent. But yeah, I don't know. Me and his bodyguard, who's like 8 feet tall, and his pockets were like this thick, like lengthwise. We literally put 2 champagne bottles, one in each pocket.
Yeah.
The same night, by the way. That was also Lionel Richie singing with Snoop. And I have a video of Snoop dancing backstage for me. Actually, that was pretty fun.
Oh, nice.
But Sticky Hands, who again that night became my best buddy. All the way up to because I was his handler. That was the first time I've ever been someone's handler. That sounds creepy to me, but I was like, oh yeah, I got it.
You know what another name for handler is? Designated driver. That too. But he had a limo. We ordered him a lift. He was special. Anyway, we chat on occasion, and he seems to feel Sticky Hands seems to feel like it's going to be Mariota's team, and that Carr is going to end up in Chicago, but it's going to take flexibility. I think the thing I love about this is the Bears and the Raiders have figured out ways to coexist and trade together. Yes.
Opposite leagues. There's a lot of things that you can say that this and that, but the Raiders, you want to say the Raiders, and this is now from the Raiders. As a season ticket holder for the Raiders, you can also say this too. You probably follow the Raiders enough to know that it doesn't matter how many points they put up. They cannot field a solid defense because they don't have the money to pay for a defense. They've drafted defensive players, and Abrams was supposed to be great and whatever, but Derek Carr's contract is suffocating, and you're also paying your backup. What is it, $10 million a year?
Yeah, somewhere around there. I think 9, but somewhere around there.
So now all of a sudden you go to the draft and think, hey, maybe I can get an extra first round pick later, late first round. I can maybe even secure next year first round pick. Maybe I can get a third.
Maybe you can get someone like Roquan Smith as part of the deal, since the Bears don't have that much draft capital.
Nobody gets Roquan. Nobody gets Roquan without dying.
My problem with the Bears.
Away.
Yeah, my problem with the Bears and King Mac. Let me just say, I am a Bears fan. I also have season tickets for the Bears. I have season tickets for both Bears and Raiders. The Raiders was an investment opportunity that was presented to me. What's that?
It's a smart investment here in Vegas.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? By the way, everybody in the chat, just so you know, if you have season tickets to the Golden Knights here in Las Vegas, you make $7,000 to $10,000 more than you pay for your season tickets if you go to half the games. So you can only sell half the tickets to the Golden Knights game, and you're going to make a $10,000 profit on your tickets. Now make that Raiders 8 games in Vegas. You have the best investment in football.
Not only that, but also if you look at it, if you get a New York team going there, that's going to increase your money. If you get the Chiefs there once a year, that's like the Packers coming to Soldier Field. So you get an increase right there. And I can't tell you how many people have hit me up for the Chiefs tickets. And they're also, I should say this, I've been told by someone in the Raiders ticket office that if they add a 17th game in 2021, which they're talking about, nothing definite, the 17th game for the Raiders would be the Bears coming to Las Vegas.
Now, buddy, in either way, you're coming to Vegas.
Look, hey, easy there, Beavis.
Coming to Vegas in a couple of weeks. First off, I want to make sure I'm clear on this. I'm fully vaccinated, even though I got suspended from Twitter for making a 5G vaccine joke. I'm fully now.
It was the 5G vaccinated. That did it.
So I'm willing to. It was. It went from 2.5. Now I can make the joke. 2.5 Gs to 5 Gs. Hey, it's so funny. I did division.
Yeah,
I got suspended for division. But no, I can't wait. Look, I made friends with Sox Twitter, but I'm counting the seconds till you can come here. I'm counting the seconds till Mailman, Mac. I mean, anybody obviously down the line. But you and I've talked about this in private chats too. Like, God, I feel like you guys only know. I feel like you guys are about to get when you guys come in. I have friends that come in. I had a friend that came in last week, and I feel like a dick. I couldn't. It was Super Bowl weekend, and I'm like, dude, I can't. But when you guys come in, I'm going to plan this out. I would like to hang out with you guys, but more so, I want to show you guys the Vegas that I don't think anybody really knows unless you've gone off the beaten path. There's a way cooler Vegas beaten path that is worth it, and that's where you're going to find, King Mac. Where do you see all these celebrities? I'm like, well, off the beaten path. You're going to go to Ellis Island. You want to see Nicolas Cage sing Elvis? Ellis Island. Get drunk, Nicolas Cage.
I've seen celebrities at. I've seen celebrities on the golf courses out there.
Every time, Mike Trout. I'm the one that didn't I send you the picture? Mike Trout was playing golf.
No, was he?
Right when everything was shut down, and he was pretending to be scared about COVID for his wife. Even worse.
Yeah. Was she still pregnant at the time, or did they just have the kid?
No, she was pregnant. And he played the card about a month later. He played the card saying, "I'm not sure. I don't want to be unsafe for my pregnant wife." I'm like, bro, you were here golfing with no mask 3 weeks before you said that. I have a picture of it. I have a time-stamped picture that I was sent. It's the same. It's Angel Park, or not Angel Park. Angel Park. Yeah, Angel Park, and he was there playing. And I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus because it's a great staff, but. I'm friends with some members of the staff there, and it just happens in Vegas. The Trout fans are going to get me, but guess what? I got the picture and the timestamp. So Mike Trout didn't really give a shit about the COVID. He was more worried about, and I don't blame him, being there for his wife's birth, his baby's birth with his wife. All that other stuff doesn't matter, but he wasn't concerned with COVID. Let's be honest. Baseball players, I'm going to go quick. COVID, whatever you want to call it. Most baseball coaches. Take me off that list because I take it serious. But there are a lot of baseball coaches that think COVID's bullshit. There's a lot, whether it's amateur sports or real sports or whatever sports, they think it's all bullshit. And masks are bullshit and mitigation's bullshit. And I love them all to death. I really do. But these are also the same dudes that I will not want to speak about literature, science with in the first place. We're going to talk about physics. We can talk about launch angle and all that good stuff. They get that shit. But let's be honest, coaches are not the end all science experts in all this. And so it's been really difficult to kind of maneuver through this as a coach myself, trying to say, look, guys, we're trying to be safe. But it's just, amateur baseball is getting it on in some places. It's not going to get on here. UNLV actually had its New Mexico State series canceled today for COVID again.
Oh, really? No, I didn't hear that.
And so it's I don't know if they announced it yet. I just got a text from their director of baseball operations that told me, but he's pissed, and they should be pissed. I mean, here it is. Get vaccinated. You're not going to get a mutated gene and turn into Resident Evil beast monster.
Damn it. That's what I was hoping for.
I know. I thought I was going to get superpowers, and I can't move shit with my mind. So it's bullshit. So get vaccinated. Do you love baseball? Do you want to be in the stands? Get that damn needle in your damn arm. Wear a damn mask. Mitigate for a second. Stop worrying about freedom. You know what? You have freedom to not watch baseball too. Just figure it out. Show up. Do what you've got to do. for everybody else. And again, I guess this is my point is I hear all these coaches bitch and complain about seasons being canceled. And yet I know that in March, April, May, June, July, August, these same dudes who I love and I respect were also posting about how masks don't work, that take your hydrochloroquine, do all the YouTube. They didn't do enough to mitigate then. And now, my bad. Like you can't not follow the rules then and then be mad that it's not happening now. But with baseball, with pro baseball, now I know this KB is. I don't know if Major League Baseball has instituted a vaccination policy yet, but I know that KB is not expecting to get vaccinated. So these players aren't expecting anything special from that's going to take away from.
They're being tested daily, aren't they?
They get tested daily, but I'm talking about the vaccine though, like to not get it and spread it.
Right.
And I know 100%. Like Chris doesn't want the vaccine. I can only speak for KB. He doesn't want the vaccine unless the old people get it first. Like he doesn't want to take something. He's a healthy guy. His child, but he's going to do what he has to do to take care of his family.
Right.
His parents are older.
Yes.
And I'm going to yell at Mike tomorrow to get vaccinated. But
I'll be honest with you. I am struggling to get my parents vaccinated, and they are both in their 80s. And I finally got the appointment for my mom on Saturday. But my dad is still waiting.
Okay, bro, you were same thing. My mom got her first shot. She's getting her second shot. Let's see. So in 2 weeks. So it was a week ago. My mom is yelling at my dad on the three of us. Like I have a sister too, but we do like the big kid chat. My sister's older than me, but we do a big kid chat on the side. Sorry, Kristen, if you're listening. And my mom's like, he hasn't even signed up for it. I'm like, God, is it the male? Is it the dad that's too tough?
No,
or are they just worrying about everybody else in front of them, and they don't feel like even at their age that they should take somebody else's. Like I feel like my dad's trying to be tough guy, and I'm like, Dad, you are in that group now.
See, my dad suffers from COPD. He's on oxygen full time, so. All the macho crap is long gone. But no, it's been a matter of trying to get, and Illinois is so fucked up because frankly, living in Chicago, there is no doubt Chicago politics is at work here, and it's not the most critical people getting it. It's the people getting it.
Which is Chicago in a nutshell.
Exactly. And, and I know this is getting like really out there.
No. But we don't have a brand here. We're just talking about.
But that's the reality of the situation is, I know people who have no need in the world to get it before, like first responders, nurses, and everything else.
Teachers.
But who have already gotten it. Because,
teachers, you want to be in school? Sorry, I will go on. I'll die on that hill all day long. You want your teacher? You want to go back to school? Vaccinate your teachers.
I have no problem with that. Anyone who has a interfacing type of job like that. I mean, the first people who should start off with are the elderly.
Yep.
The first responders, nurses, doctors, people like that. I have no problem with that. But some other people I know, and I'm not going to name any names, who I know have gotten one or both. I'm like, you're 26 years old, and you work in real estate.
You could show a virtual house.
Yeah, you're showing virtual houses right now. No, sorry. I know you got it because your dad is related to the alderman. I know that's how you got it.
Welcome to Chicago politics.
Yes, exactly.
Vegas politics isn't that much better, by the way. I feel guilty. How about this? So I got an email, and so I want to make sure, because if anybody's listening going, God, so what happened? I got an email from our school district.
Yeah.
Again, I'm an idiot. This was a Thursday night. So actually I blame you guys. It was after our podcast, and then listening to 108
today. And
then drinking probably like at least 3/4 a bottle of whiskey in that time period. I was still up at midnight, and I click on the thing, and it says teachers are available for vaccines. I'm like, oh, boom, and hit the button.
Oh yeah,
I'm fucking hit the button.
I would.
Like, yeah, hell yeah, finally. I got it. It was so they were doing it at Cashman Field here in Vegas, which is where the Las Vegas Stars, 51s, Aviators now used to play.
Isn't that where the Cubs play every year?
That's where the Cubs used to play their spring training games too. Yeah, it's an old baseball field. Now it's a soccer stadium now. They've turned it to soccer, but it's a convention hall too. It's a huge convention hall. Like huge. Yeah. And so I signed up for it. I was like, sweet. Like I thought it was if it's available for me. Yes, my man drinking High West. I'm going Johnny Red tonight, by the way.
I killed it.
Yeah. Oh, see, now that just means you need some more campfire. Or some Burrai.
Well, I got some
Burrai. Try their Burrai. It's bourbon rye mix, but here.
Okay. So just so people see, because
in the bucket.
I've had a couple people accuse me that I'm not really doing it.
Oh.
When I do these.
I know you're doing it. Oh. I feel like you just you didn't even get a chance to taste how delicious that shit is. But anyway, which is a great place in Sundance, like in Park City, Utah. You ever go to Sundance Film Festival?
You're right, McAllen, good stuff.
But what was I gonna say? Oh, anyway, so I got the email. So I signed up for the vaccine. I wasn't paying attention to like where and what. Signed up, said your time is 1:00. It was cool. It was at Cashman. So Cashman, I was going to get tested. I think on the podcast we talked about it. My girlfriend got COVID, and we had to live in the same house with COVID for
a month, right?
Yeah, and so I was getting tested every 3 days. We were isolated, 2 other rooms, which means I drank so much more than I wanted to because I didn't have her to say, hey, baby, need to pull back now? Nope, I was trying to kill time. And so I think a lot of in fact, if you look at my tweets during that time period, there's a lot of like 2 a.m. tweets that don't make any fucking sense.
I remember you and I having a couple of 2 a.m.
God, I feel bad for everybody in my DMs.
Message exchanges.
Everybody in my DMs.
Don't feel bad about me because I was actually awake.
But you guys are all 2 hours ahead of me. Like, that's my problem. Shit. Like, poor Zoe. He's trying to sleep, and I'm like, Zoe.
No.
I love you, man. No.
Zoe is not sleeping right now. Zoe has a built-in noisemaker at home.
That's true. And by the way, Root, dude, no. I had 2 antibody tests, actually twice, which would make them 2.
Mac asks a great question. How much are the Cubs responsible for KB's development? I want to say some, but I think he's a big kid. He was closer to finished than most when he got there.
Mm-hmm. This is huge. This is we can come back to the COVID thing. I'm a fucking COVID ninja. It's the truth. Positive blood, I guess. Maybe it's the O positive blood. I don't know.
Very possible.
But with KB, I'm going to say this, and I love Mike. I respect Mike, his father, a ton. Mike knows baseball. He played professionally during a time when there was no internet, and you had to literally learn based on who you got to interact with. So your hitting knowledge is pretty limited based on who you have access to. Like, again, Coach Witt, who I coached with forever, talks a million times about spending time with Chris Sabo and with Pete Rose and with a young Barry Larkin, like these, and they impact how these guys learn the game. Chris's dad came up in a time period where you didn't have that too. It was very much like everyone Papa Green, let's talk some baseball, but really, it's the 80s.
Right.
And Mike actually learned from Ted Williams. Like, I don't know many people that can sit there and say that they have had full on hitting conversations with the headed one. And
Mike Piazza can say it.
Yeah, it's true. And I'm sure there's somebody that could probably say they talked to his frozen head about hitting, but that's not the same.
That would be Hawk.
Back. They also played like tetherball with his head too, which is terrible.
The one who would talk to him would be Hawk, and Hawk would probably say, "Well, Ted, let me ask you, what'd you think of Yaz?"
To be like, I see every single pockmark on their forehead. He has the best vision ever. But anyway, so with Mike learned from everything that's impacted everything that Mike teaches about the game of baseball as far as offensive philosophy is based on everything that he took from Ted Williams. So like if you think you like no more than Ted Williams, you can crap all over what Mike's teaching.
Yeah.
But everything that Mike teaches are taught to Chris as he grew up as a young ball player was that Ted Williams philosophy. Like, so Chris doesn't know any other philosophy other than the philosophy of what I consider to be the greatest hitter in the history of the game. Individual hitter. Like, the dude went off and was a fighter pilot for a couple of years and just, kind of
came back and did 388.
Yeah, and came back and just did it again. Yeah. So we're good there. But, people always, again, development-wise, it's not necessarily always on the organization to develop all of their talent. Some talent, a guy like Chris, a guy like, I'll say it, Andrew Vaughn. When you draft a junior in college, right? A guy that comes out because Chris was only a junior. People forget. Chris is the same age when Vaughn was drafted. Chris finished his junior year of college. He went, obviously he's gone back and finished all this stuff, but he was he was already ahead of graduation at that point. He actually was going to be a dentist.
Hey,
a dentist. He's got great teeth still.
But
and his brother Nick is a pharmacist or a doctor now. But
I want to ask you a trivia question. See if you know this. Do you know who else was going to be a dentist until he got into baseball? And
Tony La Russa? He was a lawyer. My bad. A lawyer.
He's a lawyer.
People forget that.
Yes. Speaks, and also Tony La Russa speaks Spanish too. People don't realize that as well.
Why do you think him and Pujols are close? He can actually communicate.
I had some people coming at me today about a La Russa comment I made, and my point is this about the La Russa comment. He's the manager. You can like it. You can not like it. You are entitled to whatever opinion you have. But if you think throwing temper tantrums and, tweeting this and tweeting that and calling him names is going to change the mind of one Jerry Reinsdorf
or Tony La Russa,
you are sorely mistaken. If anything, what it may do is make Jerry's resolve even stronger to keep him.
You keep bitching he's going to lock La Russa in for a Tatis contract. Relax.
They're going to have his frozen head in the dugout.
Seriously, it'll be like Futurama.
Yeah.
There's Tony in the corner, bringing the box in. There's his head. Yeah. What's the lineup?
Yep.
God.
And to
you smoked. By the way, you were on fire today. You were on fire today.
Yes. Just for everyone else to know, there was a conversation that KFidds and I had after he read my initial tweet and saw some of the comments coming back at me. And 90% of the comments were like, yeah, I don't agree with the hiring, but there's nothing I can do about it now. And I had one guy sit there and say, oh, well, you're justifying drunk driving. I'm like, okay, whatever. Well, first off, can you have concerns and issues about his things outside of baseball? Absolutely.
Sure.
Without question. If you can sit there and say you've never done anything, regardless of whether or not you were caught, you are a better person than me.
I'm giving you teacher eyes right now too.
Because
you didn't look on your neighbor's cheat sheet that one time. You have the same answer and it was both wrong and it was the same sentence.
Because I will give you a story that took place and wised me up about drinking and driving. I was at the concert on Saturday night in August of 1990 where Stevie Ray Vaughan opened up for Eric Clapton the night before he died at Alpine Valley.
Oh my God.
I was at that
Tibetan Freedom concert. What up? Hello.
I was there.
Sorry. I was at Tibetan Freedom concert.
I'll just say Stevie Ray Vaughan blew Clapton off the stage. He blew Robert Cray off the stage. Blew him off it wasn't even close. I drove home after being on the beer garden at Alpine Valley. Now, anyone who's ever been to Alpine Valley, and I lived by Midway Airport. Still do, as a matter of fact, different place, but live by Midway Airport. So I drove from Alpine Valley to basically Midway Airport.
After
the concert.
Yeah, you're lucky.
I had a Chevy S10 pickup truck, stick shift. I woke up at the corner of 63rd and Cicero at 6 in the morning at a stoplight with one foot on the clutch.
Oh, you were at a stoplight too. You didn't pull over.
No.
Oh, geez.
In gear with my other foot on the brake. The only reason I woke up is because somebody was honking the horn to wake my dumb ass up.
Well,
and I got the adrenaline rush, like when you get the shit scared out of you.
Yeah, it scares the shit out of you. You gotta press on now.
I got the adrenaline, and I made it home. And the first thing I did was to walk around the truck going, oh, shit, did I
hit anything? Did
I hit it? Is there any blood? And I was in fear for a little while, like, did I fucking do something? They're going to come knocking on my door one day? Yes. But if you haven't done that, God bless you.
Yeah.
Good for you. You're a much better person than anyone else.
Absolutely.
But, there is, to say, and I'll give you the feedback how I feel about the La Russa thing. First off, and I told you this, and I told anyone else who would listen, there was no chance in hell Jerry Reinsdorf was signing off on AJ Hinch.
Mm-hmm.
No chance in hell.
You said that. You said that a ton.
Yeah. And part of it is people are mad because they wanted AJ Hinch. And I think, and forgive me if I misrepresent this, King.
It would be a whole nother can of worms, by the way.
Right. I think you posted something on Twitter that said some of the blowback about La Russa is because people wanted AJ Hinch and they didn't get their man.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely agree with you, Mac. Absolutely agree. And you don't have to like him. I don't think he's the best candidate for the job. But at the same time, you put La Russa in the dugout. What manager do you feel would have a tactical advantage over La Russa?
Bro, now, and I said this in our in our private, DMs or whatever. First off, there is nobody in a major league dugout in 2021 that has more baseball knowledge and IQ than the man that is writing the lineups for the Chicago White Sox. Mm-hmm. Now, that's it. The fact is, it's not just about what Tony does. Mm-hmm. Tony is the guy that the other coaches in the other dugout look across the way and shit their pants, knowing that they're going to have to actually manage a baseball game because the old man, I don't give a shit. Whatever you want to say about driving drunk and blah, 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 nobody's perfect. We'll both openly admit we're imperfect human beings.
Yes.
People fuck up, and guess what? If you're one-awaiting properly and you're not taking a cab or a lift home
or an Uber,
you're full of shit.
Alex,
because either you're not one-awaiting, or you're driving home drunk. So unless you have a Lyft account with receipts and a beer account with whatever, then you're really just signaling. In the end, when you look at across the dugout and you see what the other coaches are shitting their pants because nobody wants to go toe-to-toe with Tony La Russa, I'm telling you right now, every manager in baseball says that's the best manager I've ever seen in my lifetime. He is the Bill Belichick of baseball managers because baseball managers are different. They're not asshole. He could be a hard ass.
Yeah, he could be an asshole.
But he's not Bill Belichick. Like, there's actually Tony La Russa is actually a pimp. Like my man he knows what he's doing. And everybody that I know that knows Tony La Russa says that he's drinks too much
on a different level.
You know what? I'm going to say this. He has an antisocial switch that tells him that he can do things that normally a normal human couldn't do because he's been told that his entire life. Now, it's no excuse. But what I'm telling you is that when that guy has too much, I'm sorry. I look like Brad fucking Pitt when I drink too much. Sorry, at least in my mind.
I'm Albert Einstein when I do.
God dang it. And my tweets are fucking Pulitzer Prize winners when I'm drinking too much. So one could assume that Hall of Fame person is a byproduct of somebody that's drank a little bit too much, got called on it, and now is facing serious trouble.
Yes.
Guys, look, when those lights are flashing, and it's bright, and it's chaos, you're going to say every fucking thing that you might need to say to get out of this. I'm sorry. I was going. My wife's pregnant. She's having a baby. I
Yes.
saw an alien. I was chasing a laser. It doesn't matter.
I've
You know
used
what?
the I got to take a piss line when I got pulled over for speeding before.
I used the old broken ankle excuse once. So don't worry about the walking straight. My anchor's fucked up.
Yeah.
Good day, sir. Thank goodness I wasn't driving. I don't know why they had me walk the line. I wasn't even the driver. I was in the passenger seat.
I can tell you this
they
in
were
all
just
honesty.
checking my agility.
I can tell you this in all honesty. If they asked me to walk a line and I'm stone sober, I can't do it. I've broken my left ankle 3 times. I can't do it.
Bro, I have tried the reverse alphabet sober.
Oh God, I'm screwed. Yeah.
When I was on my I went to see a therapist about ADHD. I have bad ADHD or whatever. And so she gave me a Adderall, a 7-day Adderall. Midway through Adderall week, I'm like, I got to do this. They're like, what? I'm like, I feel like I could take a bike apart and put it back together again. So let's do this.
Yeah.
Alphabet. I'm going reverse alphabet. So Mr. Day 3 of an ADHD trial on Adderall, I could not still do the alphabet backwards. Now you're going to ask somebody that's had 2 beers to do that? Shit, man, I could have taken your car apart, put it back together again, given you a Hemi, walked away.
And I have a funny story about, and you know, Alex brings up a couple of great points. Talent trumps all.
Mm-hmm.
To a certain extent,
extra looks too.
To a certain extent, yes. But I would argue that talent didn't trump all because I felt the White Sox were better than Oakland last year. And I felt that their deficiencies were shown not only with the way the bullpen was handled, but the lack of a third starter. But I still think they were more talented than Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
So talent doesn't necessarily trump all, because I will use the early 2000 White Sox as an example of this. There is no reason in the world that team should have finished second behind the Twins in 2002, 2003, 2004. There's no way in the world.
There's no reason anybody should ever finish behind the Twins unless it's 1987 or 1991.
Yes. And what would Juan Soto's payday be? 14,350. 14 years, 350, 360 million, probably.
I say 12,330.
Okay.
But
yeah.
By the way, just so we know, by the way, this post podcast is brought to you by Lyft, Uber, and all ride sharing opportunities.
Yes.
Nobody should drive drunk.
And I will reinforce that point, because I went to the Sox Fest after party last year at Reggie's, and I was staying at the Hampton Inn that was attached to McCormick Place. Now, for those of you familiar, that's about a 2-block walk. I was in such bad shape because I was in New York. I caught a 6 a.m. flight out of New York.
World traveler.
Yeah, right. And on that trip, I got to meet Derek Jeter, but whatever.
Did he send you a fruit basket, by the way?
No, unfortunately, I did not get a fruit basket, and I feel very left out.
So you didn't give it up. You're good.
No, I didn't. You got to work for this.
Yeah. He didn't even want to buy you dinner.
Yeah. I took an Uber from Reggie's to the hotel.
So you took like a 2-block,
yes.
Lyft. I don't know what to call. Okay.
Ask Wally.
So guys, when I say Lyft, by the way, my girlfriend, her client was Lyft here in Vegas. I've never I secretly would take Uber, but I call it all. They're all called. It's like calling everything, like Texans call everything Coke.
Yes. Yeah.
Every rideshare is a Lyft for me right now. It should be Pop, which is Uber. Uber's Pop, but I'm calling it Lyft. It's Coke. So I'm sorry about that.
No, but yes, I took it 2 blocks. You can ask Wally about it. Wally Money can confirm this. But I got into the thing and I was so gone. The guy looked at the address and just started laughing at me. And he took me like 2 right turns and we were at the hotel. I gave him a tip that was twice the amount of what it cost me.
Good person. You're a good person. You're a good person.
Dude, just take it. Oh, here, whatever.
Bro.
It was raining out that night. That was my excuse.
So now you've come to Vegas before, right?
Yes.
Have you been to Frankie's Tiki Hut?
Where is it at?
Charleston and the 15, basically, like just on the other side of.
No.
Okay.
I've been to Batista's Hole in the Wall.
Bottomless house wine and the old dude with the accordion.
Yes,
Hunchback
I love
guy.
that place.
That place is terrible Italian food, and it doesn't matter. They call it a cappuccino at the end, and it's just hot chocolate with whipped cream in like a grandma mug that you got at Disney World. It's terrible, but it's the greatest place ever. So if you're coming to Vegas, guys, always go to Batista's Hole in the Wall.
It is
all you can drink house wine.
Yes, and it is right across the street from Bally's.
Yep, behind the Flamingo.
Yes,
the Flamingo, and then you could actually walk over and get on the big old the spinny Ferris wheel thingy that also, by the way, has open bar. You could actually reserve. They have bars. They have a couple cars that have bars. Right. You can reserve open bar for just your time in the Ferris wheel.
Ooh.
So, which I've done before. Mm-hmm. And when you get to the peak, like when you get to the 100% highest, which is a absolutely fantastic view of Las Vegas, because it really is. Like it's the link, which would be like what you consider Imperial Palace back in the day.
You know what the nickname of the Imperial Palace is, or was, right?
They're the best cars ever, but
no, the home of the half shower.
Oh,
you know why? Right. Because not to be stereotypical, but the showers were made for shorter people. So taller people like me, it would hit me like in here. So I had to like contort.
Clean out. Yep. But so they have an open bar. They have an open bar in that link little thing, so you can do an open bar, and so it's how much you can put down, and it takes about an hour to get around it. Yeah. And so it's how much you can throw down in an hour.
Yep.
But
now, Alec, another question: thinks he'll be Trout, and then contracts continue to rise, and with his talent hitting the market at 25, Scott Boras, we'll see. All very fair points.
Can I defend Scott Boras for a second, though?
But I was going to say, we need to see what happens with the collective bargaining agreement at the end of 21. If he's smart, he may try and lock it in now.
I'm going to say this. All right. So if you're in this group and you think Scott Boras is evil, you think Scott Boras is the devil, cancer on baseball, I'm telling you right now. I
want him as my agent.
First off, and you know why you want him as your agent? Because your agent does what you tell them to do. There is not a single time. God, the biggest thing that drives me effing nuts is when people are like, oh, it's Scott Boras. He does. Well, no, you know what Scott Boras does? What his employees tell him to do. He is employed. He's contracted. Mm-hmm. What he might advise them. He might say, I think this is really stupid. But if Chris says, I want a $5 contract, Scott Boras has to do a $5 right. He's not that guy. Like, I don't know. Okay, look.
Well,
as one of Chris's former coaches, I can tell you this: the Boras camp always does background
on clients,
research on the echo chamber of the client. I'll just put it that way. Okay. I don't have I'm an idiot, so I understand that if you were to interview more than a few women around Las Vegas, you probably would get a really great review. Hey-o. But you also get a terrible review from others. So, but the fact is that they're protective of their property. Now, they look at what can harm the product. But when Chris says, I want this, Chris gets that. So if Chris wants the contract, if Scott says this is stupid, Chris can say, Scott, shut the fuck up. Yes. And I'm telling you this right now. I have seen in action Chris standing up for him, like advocating for himself. I know this as an insider. This bothers me that there's this belief that anybody that signs with Scott Boras is some sort of minion of Scott Boras. Mm-hmm. That's like saying that your housekeeper runs the house when you hire the best housekeeper in the country. Yeah. Your house is clean. Your housekeeper tells you, look, if you keep setting this glass on this table, it's going to create rings and it's going to make your table look like shit. Yeah. No, Scott Boras is the same. Like, hey, I advise against this, but Scott Boras advises.
Yes,
I advise. Like, it's not anything other than that. Like, and Scott Boras. So, like, when people throw out the Scott Boras thing, it's a boogeyman. It's an easy boogeyman for people to blame, but it's not Scott Boras. It's the fact that Major League Baseball players want to make sure that they're compensated on the league average so that future players that come behind them will get a better average of that. And they don't want, if you get taken advantage of, if Chris were to, because I can honestly say this, Chris doesn't need the money. So if Chris took a $5 million a year contract, he wouldn't even like lose a night's sleep. He'd play baseball and be happy.
Right.
The problem is it affects everybody else across the board.
Yes.
It's not just Chris. It's the players that will now get shorted money based on that average. And nobody gets that. Like Boris is us against the owners. Honestly, Boris is the only guy that's always stood against the owners. He's always been truthful.
There's a great example of your point there about how it's the ripple effect with the other players. Remember, in 2004, A-Rod was traded to the Red Sox. He was traded. That deal got nixed because the union had an issue with A-Rod taking a cut in pay on that contract in order for him to join the Red Sox. That's why he wound up with the Yankees. It's that simple. And as far as the Scott Boras thing,
it's a boogeyman.
Scott Boras is a
boogeyman.
Is a White Sox fan boogeyman, and I'll explain why. Because Kenny Williams, for years, used the Scott Boras boogeyman to the point where I, as John Q. Public fan, would say, "Oh, who are the free agents?" I would look and say, "Oh, this guy's a free agent." My next question would be, "Who's his agent?" "Oh, it's Scott Boras." The Sox aren't going to talk to him. And it lasted that way for years. And it was sort of like a deflection in a way. It's the case where, it's like a deflection for the White Sox. They don't want to, it's like the Machado thing. They had a seat at the table. Yeah, but you were at the kids' table. And it was a deflection from the fact that they either don't know how to negotiate those kind of contracts, don't want to negotiate those kind of contracts, or C, both. And I would say it's probably both. And I think part of the issue with Kenny Williams for years is Kenny Williams always had to pretend that he was the smartest guy in the room. And by thinking he's the smartest guy in the room, he's actually the dumbest.
But he was trying to sell himself to Sox fans too. Do you feel like that was like mostly to like make him? It was more optics than everything else. Because again, Kenny's not stupid. He's smart. Like, I don't know. I feel like White Sox fans like found an ire, but I think Kenny was just kind of like sitting back and just going, "I know how it works." Like if the player wants to stick here, he's going to stick here. That's why I think that the Scott Boras narrative is so tired and.
I absolutely
Scott
agree.
Boras has done more to benefit the players of baseball than any human in the history of the game.
Not the owners.
No, and the owners, guess who owns the media? The owners. Yeah. Guess who owns SNY? The owner. Like that's the problem is they've turned it's like regular society. They have turned the people that profit most off the backs of the average Joe and then make the average Joe criticize the people that were fighting for the average Joe. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't begrudge anybody getting their money. I had someone message me when Bauer signed that contract saying, Trevor Bauer's not worth $40 million. And my response was, well, yes, he is, because somebody paid it.
Yeah, I mean, he is technically to them.
Right. I could go to work and say I want to be paid $40 million a year. Nothing stops me from doing that. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. And I have to say one more thing about Kenny, because I see, we're getting a comment here. Boras has praised Hahn repeatedly, so hopefully the Boras thing will no longer be a narrative. Hopefully, but don't ever expect the White Sox to be playing in the $300 million contract pool.
Pause. By Sock Summer, are you listening to Creed? Number one, are you listening to Bruce Springsteen and the But I love you, my sock summer. My sock summer is my favorite, by the way.
My man.
If you ever tonight in about oh shit, are we going? Are we pushing into their time?
No, they go at 8:30.
What time is it there?
8:10.
Sorry, I saw 6:12 on my clock. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got some time. My sock summer is my spirit animal, by the way. I want to make sure I'm very clear on this. Like me in the chat is because all I want to do is party with my sock summer. Like all I want to do. I had no idea that Beef Loaf's brother is a fucking rocker. Like, Jesus, I'm learning all this stuff on Facebook. I'm going through everybody's photos now that we're Facebook friends. I'm like, oh,
yeah. Barren Plains is the name of the band that Chirizi belongs to, and they did release a CD.
Oh, they had a CD?
I want to say yes. There's a CD out there in 2019.
Is there an MP3? Like, do we have something from like an iPod?
Yes, I know. I got my copy of it on iTunes. It is out there and available.
But does my sock summer play the instruments, or is he just like me? He wears wallet. Well, I don't wear wallet chains. He's that guy that probably wore the skater like the with like the no hem skater pants. Probably.
No, first let me say I'm Team MSS.
He's my man.
That's my guy. Man. Team MSS all the way. But I always give him grief.
But I'm an MSS.
He loves his cargo shorts. And I always tease him, is he doing like the Napoleon Dynamite with the tater tots in the pocket of the cargo shorts?
Hey, again, why he's my soulmate. When my girlfriend leaves town, I wear cargo shorts. When she's here, I have to pretend like I don't have any cargo. I have cargo shorts that I hid. They're actually behind that trophy. They're actually behind that.
Yeah.
She went through my shit.
Yeah. There you go.
See, there it is. You have some delicious. Never apologize for your cargo shorts. You could put tater tots in there. You can put flip flops. You can hide whiskey flasks. You can put like little bottles of Fireball. You can get those like.
No, the little bottles is all Wally's responsibility.
Okay, so
all Wally Money's responsibility.
How about this? I got a question.
Yes.
So, I am coming to Chicago this summer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know that there will be a point where we'll be able to watch a White Sox game in person.
We certainly hope so.
What do I need to do to prepare myself for my first 108 experience? What would you say I should do to prep for it? But then am I going to be able to experience? I would wear a romper on that day. But I just want to know what would I do? How do you prepare for a like I know how to prepare for a left field bleacher shit show. Like it's fine. Like you smoke a little weed, a little edible. Nowadays it's not nearly as fun. Back in the day, you just roll in there and just fucking bring it or whatever. But
yeah,
I want to know, how do I prepare myself for a 108? I want a 108.
Okay. So
as an amateur 108er that wants the 108, how do I 108? What is the 108?
So first thing I would suggest is that bring lots of money, because one of the things is if you're in the 108, you're expected to buy a round.
So is it like blood in, blood out, bound by honor?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean,
so everyone buys a round. Generally
a row per section. Like, how does that work? That's
depends on who's there. I mean, not the entire section, mind you.
Okay.
There's several people who are not, who have no clue what the hell's going on.
Unfortunate souls that just kind of
that just happen to sit there. But let's just say, it's My Sock Summer, Chirizi, Beef, Biggins, Slump Buster, Wally, me. There might be a couple others here and there that pop
Jack
in.
Zoe, hello,
Jack.
Oh my God.
If Zoe comes,
bring the baby. We'll get it wasted.
Yeah, bring the baby. We'll put some alcohol on the baby's gums or something to get him to count.
Make a baby beer bong. We're good. There's Jim. Jim.
Yes. So it's everybody tries to buy at least one round. Tip your beer vendor.
One round for $200, basically the whole game.
Yeah. Tip your beer vendor well. There are certain beer vendors you buy from and certain that you don't. We do tip well. See,
I need a tour guide. I would like to actually do it like
food.
Outsiders 108.
Yeah. Food is, I would suggest eating something before you go. Just
And there, I'm going
be
to Los
ready for
Angeles.
baseball trivia, which I think you'll be fine at.
Tavern Los Angeles at like 11 a.m.
There you go. There might be some pre-gaming going on. That could be in Lot B, could be in Lot C, could be at Cork and Kerry by the park. Could meet over at Buffalo Wings and Rings and take the shuttle over.
See,
Or
you plug that enough. So tell me a little bit. First off, by the way, Cub Zone, always park at Gray Street parking lot. Always. Just saying. I mean, I don't know if that works, but that's where I'm going. I'm going to Gray Street. I get the Gray Street parking lot every single time, or I'm just taking a lift. But with White Sox fans, so you're talking about, so it's Buffalo. What is it?
Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Wings and Rings. And everybody posts this shit. Mm-hmm. So now, verse the idiot, me, that doesn't know. Is this a thing? Is this a real thing?
It is a restaurant/bar.
Okay.
The wings are outstanding. They have what's called pretzel bites and queso. So a certain person on this video right now has been known to chug the queso.
A certain person on this podcast also would be known for not judging someone for chugging queso. So
yes,
and also has chug queso.
And there is video of me doing it, which I can send you afterwards, because it was basically somebody saying something and I just chugged.
I love it. I did a ranch chugging contest a couple years ago. That was pretty cool.
I can't do ranch. I'm not a ranch fan. I can do blue cheese, not ranch.
I shit really fast, like within like 10 minutes in the bathroom, but that was fun.
Yeah. The Korean shrimp that they have there is outstanding.
So you just told me that there's a wings place.
Yes.
But one of their best fares is
the wings are great too.
Seafood and fowl.
Yes.
Usually when you're talking about like a regular, like run-of-the-mill like restaurant, you have to choose seafood and shrimp because you want to mix, obviously.
I usually order both. Because they do with the wings, they do like you can buy them in 5, 10, 20, whatever you want. And you could also do an order of 10 and mix and match 5 and 5. Because they have different, you can do barbecue, you can do garlic parmesan. I can't think of all the flavors off the top of my head. But
so if I go on Uber Eats right now, you think it'll be here by like
2028
of next week, like for the next podcast? Because I'm gonna try. Jesus Christ, that sounds so good.
Yes, and one of the guilty pleasures I have there is during the pandemic they were only available to go. No, obviously no indoor dining, takeout only.
Sure.
So I would order like $60, $70 worth of food, and I'd order a vanilla shake and have that while I was driving home with the food.
Set my drink down for a second because you're talking. So do they make good shakes there too? Like you're telling me they make good.
Yes.
Or is it just like a shake that you're familiar with?
They're
from Roselle. So if anybody from Roselle, Illinois right now is watching this podcast, Cheryl's Drive-In, when I was in high school, which makes me old, is the greatest malt shake I have ever had in my entire life.
Now, not malted, just a shake.
Oh, yours just shake. Okay.
Yes.
And I have a friend, by the way.
But they have, other places have malts here. So
my friend Wayne, who's my dad's friend, but he was an assistant coach for our basketball team when I was in high school, is running for mayor of Roselle. And he says he's going to bring back the Cheryl's Drive-In.
There you go.
So vote for Wayne Domke in Roselle if you're from Roselle, but if not, fuck off. But that exposes me for where we moved to now. And Kedzie and Armitage, where we're from.
Yeah. And the best thing about Buffalo Wings and Rings, they have parking there. You can park either in their lot or on the streets by there. Just it gets a little dicey on the streets because the game thing, and if you pay don't have a sticker and all that crap. But they have a shuttle that runs. They have a shuttle that runs from Buffalo Wings and Rings at 35th and Halsted to, I forget the exact street name, but the street where 35th Red Hots is, right by Lot G. And then you could walk to the park from there, and after the game, walk back and take the shuttle back.
That feels like actually a bad business plan because you're shuttling people to a place where they're really gonna, unless you have the same hot dogs, you're
But you're going to shuttle people. You're going to, if they leave their car there, they're going to come back.
right, but they might be full. Oh, you know what? If they're drunk, they're gonna eat anything.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I've ordered White Castle 20 bag, and I had just eaten a gigantic dinner, and it was gone before we got home on the Uber. So
I've done 2 football-sized burritos before in my drunken days.
Alfaro.
Yes.
Yes. By the way, we need to talk about this because you posted this earlier. You posted the Alfaro in it's not Skokie. I almost said Skokie.
Summit?
Emmett. Yep.
Yeah.
So that
I live less than 3 miles from there.
That was our place to go. So when in high school, that was where we would go.
Yep.
You get yourself
El Gallo.
You walk in and the meat, the ground beef is like stacked like this high on the fucking.
Yep.
And then you get an RC.
Yep.
Get a Royal Crown.
Yep. El Gallo was the best. El Gallo. They have a place at like 115th and Harlem now, but I used to go to the one at 63rd and Sacramento.
Okay.
And you knew they had a glass company on, or I shouldn't say glass company. Well, they did have that too, but they had a board up service on retainer because every Friday and Saturday night they would get smashed out. And it was a good night for them if they didn't lose their windows on Friday or Saturday night. So depending on what time you were going there, you might stay there and eat. But if it was past, say, 11:30, 12 o'clock, you generally took it to go.
You want to get the fuck out of there.
Yes.
Okay, so that's like Elgin, State Street, El Faro. Mm-hmm. There was an now I don't know if they were like rated. It had it was they actually had the actual lighthouse in their picture.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I went to college, I saw El Faro and it was not the same.
Hey, you know, is it Gallo or Gallo?
Gallo.
It's because it's spelled Gallo, Gallo.
Right. And it's not Joey. It's right. I mean, if it's Italian, it's Gallo. If it's Latino, it's Gallo. There's a difference. But
yes.
No, Alfaro is the best burrito okay. I don't want to say that actually. I would be lying. At that age was the greatest thing I've ever eaten. I had never eaten a burrito that was bigger than my head.
Yeah.
And so here in Vegas, we have what's called Cafe Rio. Mm-hmm. And if you, sorry, man, when you come to Vegas, there's too many food places. I'm not going to, I would love to share it with you, but you don't, but maybe I'll get a little pork for you.
I'll tell you this. I am perfectly happy with Jack in the Box and In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, I know you are. I'm taking you Cali bombs though. You're gonna get In-N-Out Burger on steroids though. See, that's the difference. Is Jack in the Box is great. Gag in the Bag is fucking amazing. They have a 20 box of fucking little mini tacos right now. That if you order again, you should order Uber Eats or some sort of
delivery. Well, there is a Jack in the Box in Illinois,
but there is no Jack in the Box in Illinois. The last Jack in the Box I saw in Illinois was like at State Line, like Southern Illinois.
Yes, it's still there.
But it's the one at Southern Illinois, right?
Yes. By the Missouri border.
Like literally getting into like Missouri where you're like, fuck my life.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Missouri sucks.
Call it what it is. Misery.
It's misery. It sucks. Missouri, you suck. You're the worst state in the union besides Florida / Texas. But Texas has Austin, and Houston, which is Houston's pretty rad too. But F Dallas, F Daily Plaza, because I get mad when I go there. And you talked about that. I'm so pumped. Did you do the Daily Plaza? Like, were you in the book depository and like did you do the whole tour?
Yeah.
So when my sister went into labor with my nephew,
mm-hmm.
I was actually looking through the 7th floor sniper's perch.
Yes.
And this is how I got a page. My sister went into labor. She lived in Denton, which was not far, but
okay.
I had to leave the sniper's perch to go meet my nephew, which is great, but oh man, when you walk through that whole area, you realize it's really tiny. It's not it's not like when you watch the amazing Oliver Stone film, which is one of my favorite films of all time.
Yep.
It looks so huge.
Yeah.
You're like hovering. It's like seventh row versus second row. Like you're like, oh my god. Like someone could have actually used a shotgun in the grassy knoll, and you're like, oh, that worked.
Yeah. There's also a
Just happened.
theory that there was a guy in the sewer.
Yep. And he was from Chicago, and he was related to Santo Trafficante, as well as, of course, Momo Giancana.
Yes. And there's another famous celebrity's father who was supposedly involved in that.
The guy that went to Cancun this week?
I don't know. Did he?
I don't know. Ted Cruz's dad was
not
everybody's
him.
murder, but he went
Woody
to Cancun.
Harrelson's dad was supposedly one of the guys that was arrested.
The hobos. The hobos. They arrested like a bunch of hobos.
Yes.
Which I don't know if hobos is even politically correct, but at the time they looked like hobos. Like they had like a really, really nice like 5 o'clock shadow and the top hat.
Yeah.
And fully washed, clean fingernails.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like hobos back in the day meant you got a shower.
Yep.
We were well shaven. Today you're like, no, it's not the same thing. Hobos back then meant like, oh, that guy is like kind of sexy. That's Jack Kerouac. Jack Kerouac was a hobo, like
William Burroughs.
Burroughs. Well, he wasn't much of a hobo. He was just more of a not a very good. What am I? He was not good at William Tell.
Well, the funny thing is,
lit nerds will get that joke. Everybody else, read a fucking book. Sorry.
Well, it's funny because I was watching Jeopardy the other day, and they started talking about Jack Kerouac, and some of the questions were about Jack Kerouac. And
my dog's name is Kerouac, right?
What's that?
My dog's name is Kerouac.
Oh, nice. And
I was told that he wouldn't respond to 3-syllable words, but
yeah,
Kerouac.
And one of them had to do with the Dharma bums.
Yep, great book.
And somebody goes, "How do you know about the Dharma bum?" I'm like, "I read it like 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I read On the Road. I read How by William S. Burroughs. That's." Oh, hello.
Camera went out. Hold on.
Yeah. Yes, Yumper. The rumor is that Woody Harrelson's dad was one of the hitmen at Dealey Plaza on November 22nd, 1963, when President Kennedy was assassinated. Whether or not that's true, I mean, you're talking about events from coming up on 60 years ago, so who knows? But that is one of the rumors. There's another rumor that one of the people involved in it was one of Richard Nixon's plumbers, G. Gordon Liddy, that he was also involved in the assassination. And if you don't know who G. Gordon Liddy is, look up All the President's Men. Read that book. It talks about G. Gordon Liddy in there. Great book by Woodward and Bernstein. But just going through some of the theories about the Kennedy assassination, how Woody Harrelson's dad was one of the hitmen, how supposedly G. Gordon Liddy from Watergate and All the President's Men fame was also involved in the assassination.
I was actually more as I grew up and I got older. I was actually more.
Yes, Liddy did time.
I was actually more like disenfranchised. I always again, Oliver Stone made Jim Garrison look like a really good dude, but
Jim Garrison actually has a cameo in JFK.
Absolutely, he's the judge.
Yes, he plays Justice Warren.
Jim Garrison's case.
Yeah,
but and Jim Garrison, you know what? All the theories about the JFK stuff, which makes me feel stupid actually, because now we look at today. We look at modern society, and I actually sit here in judgment of conspiracy theory people that are like, the QAnons and is that what people that lived in the 70s look at people that believe that JFK was an inside not an inside job even but a conspiracy means more than one person. So, and I believe that more than one person was involved in the JFK assassination. I have a hard time not believing it. I actually do trust. Sounds so bad saying this. I trust Sam Giancana's journals and diaries. There was, Chicago had a huge impact on the JFK election.
Yes,
I know that my great uncle voted at least 4 times.
My dad said he voted 5.
Yeah, it's a total family story. Like they were proud of it because JFK was a good guy. It was just a matter. They overshot their. They didn't need to go that far. But
Right.
now with QAnon, it's JFK Jr. who died, unfortunately.
Yes.
But totally different.
Mhm.
Not the same thing at all. But I feel terrible when I don't want to judge anybody for their theories because I'm totally a JFK conspiracist theory. But I'm also
enjoy the history aspect of it, and
I do,
and the amateur sleuthing aspect of it.
And when you go to Daily Plaza, I know it's way weird. Like we're talking about Daily Plaza like vacations right now, but it is really it's an eye-opening moment. They have the X there on the spot where like
yes, they have the three X's.
Yep,
the red X
can go there. And again, like I was looking through that window, and I'm like, I couldn't do this. And you think about like the blooms that were there in November, like the blooms were there. So you had to shoot through like, you ain't doing this alone.
Well, the thing that always stuck with me about that scene in the movie, they nail it when he says, why don't they hit him coming up the street? Because it absolutely is a clear shot.
Yeah,
and
but you
also have time to recycle for the second shot.
But I look at it the same way, is that if Lee Harvey was who I've seen he's an idiot. So he probably he wouldn't have seen that. But I also think that mobsters aren't like, God, they're great with finances. Sorry. They're excellent. Like
they have a code.
They're not good with masking their intent. Their intent actually is what they do best. So,
but they also have a code about. Yes, they can't mask intent, but they have a code about protecting somebody once they've done something.
Sometimes
the only mob thing is if you rat, then all bets are off. Although
I'm gonna say this, by the way, this is so sad. Like I feel terrible. Actually, I was really upset about this. By the way, so if you're from Chicago, you would know this story. But still, Tony Spilotro.
Yes.
If you've seen the movie Casino.
Yes. And let me just say one thing. I don't know if you are aware of this or not. Sam Mendelson on Twitter, White Sox fan, who's occasionally in the 108. His father was the nephew of the character that Robert De Niro played in Casino.
Oh, he's
Lefty Rosenthal.
Who was, by the way, if you guys have been paying attention in the last 5 years, was actually an FBI informant.
But that is, his father was I can't think of his name. Lefty Rosenthal. What am I thinking about? It's Ace Rothstein. Ace Rothstein in the movie.
Frank Rosenthal.
Yes, Frank Lefty Rosenthal.
So that's it.
Sam Mendelson's dad was his nephew. Sam Mendelson's dad still lives in Vegas too. And if you go look in the 108, they did a question and answer session with Mr. Mendelson where they talked about, Frank Lefty Rosenthal. They talked about the woman who was the inspiration for Sharon Stone's character in the movie, his wife, and it's some great stuff to read. And
so if you've never read Wise Guy, by the way, read Wise Guy.
Yes. Nicholas Pileggi.
Yeah. It's way better than the book. But I'm going to tell you right now, Mike, I'm plugging this podcast over our podcast. It is the Las Vegas Review-Journal did the greatest Vegas mob podcast I have ever listened to. It was, I think, 6 episodes. It just came out this spring, actually. It's fantastic. It's from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, though, so make sure it's from the LVRJ. And it tells the whole story of the Vegas mob, but it spends a lot of time with more. So the whole evidence of it all was Frank Collada, and by the way, Yumper.
Yes, that's correct.
I had a this is the shit
Frank Collada of the Hole in the Wall gang, which was headed by Tony Spilotro.
I had a Vegas tour scheduled with Frank Collada for this past fall. I was writing a screenplay about his life, and I had a schedule appointment for September, and they canceled. They canceled in October. They kept canceling, and I couldn't figure out why. And he had COVID, but he was already on the nose, but the oxygen, yeah. He wasn't like he didn't say anything about having it. But his story is such a fantastic Chicago story. He was a shoe shiner across the street from Tony Spilotro, who was shining his shoes on the other side of the street, like in the south side of Chicago on Taylor Street. And they were like, they did what they had to do to survive. And Collada fucked up, and he. I mean, it's been 40 years since his last like fuck up when it comes to like what he did. Like you can actually make amends for a fuck up. I don't even care. Like, I'm sorry, maybe I'm over. You can take a life and make up for that lost life by making sure that you save a billion times that, whatever. Right. And his openness and honesty was, and again, you listen to the podcast, it broke my heart. Like, I was so pumped. I was so pumped because I'm going to still do the tour. His guy's going to give me the map, but it's not the same. I want to get in the back seat of the car with Frank's bodyguard, who he had a bodyguard. We were going to meet at the what's the place next to the Riv? Breakfast place. Jesus Christ.
Oh, I know the place you're talking about. I can't think. Oh shit, I can't think of it.
Yeah, now I'm getting a blank here. Hold on.
I think I stumbled in there once or twice, like 5 in the morning.
God, it's the greatest place to go ever. Jesus, why am I drawing a blank? Peppermill. The Peppermill. And so he picks you up at the Peppermill, and then he takes you on a Vegas tour, and he takes you to his old house, Tony's old house, and Tony. Okay, so Collada's got some good stuff about Tony Spilotro, but Spilotro really did impact Las Vegas more than people realize. I can tell you right now that two of the best baseball coaches in Vegas I know worked at his pizza joint back when they were in high school. So they were kids with like a truck.
Is that the Leaning Tower, was it? Or
that was Frank's place. Okay. Tony's place. Again, I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, I love these stories, by the way. These are like, this is one of the reasons why I love coaching with Coach Witt. Coach Witt has heard every story there's been told in Vegas, which is amazing. The time that Jerry Tarkanian left his kids in the car in 112-degree heat and had to have somebody called to break in the windows to get Alex out of the car, who's one of my students now, his grandkid. Hey, nobody knows that story?
Yeah. I've never heard that, but I just want to ask Yumper to follow up on something he said. According to QAnon, JFK was supposed to come out with Biden. I have a question about that. Was it Biden or was it Obama? Because when JFK Jr. died, there was a lot of talk about him entering the political spectrum.
That was like 1998, right?
99, and running for office.
Obama didn't exist politically.
Correct. But, so if you look at the timing, he would have never been able to run with Gore in 2000. No chance whatsoever.
No, he was just starting the magazine. Like he was.
Well, he started that in like 95.
Yeah, but he was peaking. Like he was peaking.
Right.
Like I'm
just magazine cratered.
My ex-wife. Okay, so again, I've been married. Whatever. Carolyn Bessette.
Yes.
My ex-wife was obsessed. Like when I say obsessed, I'm talking about like late 90s. Like she was obsessed with Carolyn Bessette when she was in college.
You mean
her freshman year of college, which is JFK's wife.
Right.
So everything that Carolyn Bessette did, my ex-wife, we didn't get married till 2001. So they died. He passed away. 99.
July
of 99.
This
is 2 years before we got married. But she was 100% Carolyn Bessette, like stan. Like if you would call that, like when you had dial-up internet, she knew what Carolyn Bessette was doing with her dial-up AOL account.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
But all that stuff, all the stuff with him, like it was the worst thing ever. Like that dude was 100% going to be a mover and shaker in this world. And what he did was he flew into fog.
Yes.
People
Without
make
the proper training.
stupid decisions. What's his name from the fucking Cardinals or the Marlins or the Mets?
Fernandez?
Geez, what's his name from the Yankees? Like people
Thurman
make
Munson.
everybody take away. Just, you know what? Major League Baseball players, stop flying airplanes.
Well,
Pro athletes, stop flying your own plane.
Do you know where Thurman Munson played his last game? Against the White Sox at Comiskey Park. Because the Yankees went home, he went to Cleveland because they had the day off. His last game was at Comiskey Park.
Yes, he was supposed to reveal himself in October, and Pence was supposed to back down. He was supposed to reveal himself. Apparently, he looks like actually John Lennon, but old John Lennon. And yeah, that didn't work. Sorry. Can I make fun of QAnon? Can I make? There's 7 of us here right now. 8 of us. QAnon. Fucking stupid. Sorry. All right. But you're right. No, I dude, and you know what? This right here, because Aloha has been to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to take Aloha to the Golden Steer, which is the Brat Pack hangout with a small little door in the back.
And I will say, my first time in Vegas was in.
I want some Aloha Vegas stories. Give me.
Well, okay. So the first time I ever went to Vegas was over the July 4th holiday in 1993. The reason I remember that is because I went out for my cousin's wedding. So my parents.
So we're telling 93 stories. So this is
yes,
just the beginning of Excalibur.
And
no Mandalay Bay. The dunes was still there, right?
The sands, the desert inn, the dunes,
Stardust
still there.
The best place on earth.
Stardust. And so I flew out. You know, my parents went out a day earlier. I met them out there. And my dad took me into the sands and explained, this is the sands. That's the showroom where the Rat Pack played back in 1960. It was the biggest thing ever. They filmed the movie Ocean's 11. Here's the casinos they hit. And I think the only one that's still standing is the Flamingo from the casinos they hit in the original 1960 Ocean's 11, the Frank Sinatra Ocean's 11, not the George Clooney one. And if you ever get the chance, watch the Frank Sinatra Ocean's 11 and look at how Vegas looks then, because they filmed it there, versus how it looks in the Clooney Ocean's 11 versus how it looks now. So I got to go into the sands. And
by the way, there is a documentary about the original Ocean's 11 that's on Amazon Prime.
I have seen it. Yes.
Nerd.
I've seen it too.
I feel like I've watched. Oh God, fuck
how
this
they
COVID.
played 3 shows at night and then filmed during the day and slept like 2 hours.
Gee, they're partying. It was a party film.
Yes. All they did was party the whole time. And Kennedy came out there and supposedly made that's where he first made acquaintances with a certain Marilyn Monroe.
And Robert did too. Oh,
yes.
Sorry about that.
And supposedly Robert was the one who whacked her that night in August in 1962. And
well, he didn't, but his people did, and it was injected up the boot.
Yeah. But so the first, my dad took me around, showed me the sands, Stardust, and he talked about the Stardust is the hotel where the casino story actually took place. I forget. It's called the Tangiers and Casino.
It's Tangiers and Casino, correct?
Right, but it's the Stardust was where, and it was a Chicago. With Chicago mob hotel. With
Siegfried and Roy were there. Like people forget. Like they think MGM Siegfried and Roy. Siegfried and Roy was there, and Follies Bergère, or not Follies Bergère.
Bergère.
Siegfried and Roy was the big Showtime.
Yeah.
Stardust. They were at the Stardust forever.
Yes. Okay. Because Tom Jones was there too for a long time, wasn't he?
A little bit, but that's a different.
And of course, we can't forget Wayne Newton.
Wayne. Jesus. You know this, right? Can I? Oh, I wish I could play this. My last Halloween party in COVID. It was actually in COVID, I guess. Is it in COVID? No, it wasn't not in COVID. So Halloween, would that be 2019? Was the last time we actually had
Yes.
like a non-masked COVID
Yes.
Halloween order? Girlfriend's event at what's called here in Vegas. It's called the Sterling Club, which is a very high-end hotel that has a very special, like
Sweet.
everything.
Okay.
Okay, these are billionaires. They're
Oh, is this sort of like the bank in Ocean's 13?
No, this is literally where they live. It's the Sterling Club is like where if you're a player in Vegas and you live at the Sterling Club, you're a player. And so for their Halloween party, my girlfriend's clients, again, like I said, like girlfriend, I'm PR boyfriend, I'm a teacher, I'm a baseball coach, I don't know shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I wear fucking like t-shirt. I look like a scumbag.
You wear cargo shorts. Just say.
Oh, I made her buy me a suit. Like I made her buy me a suit. Okay, so I don't pay for this shit. Okay, I'm your boyfriend. I'm a baseball coach. Like I'm gonna roll in a baseball hat and a fucking like a overly tight t-shirt and a belly. But anyway, this is her client, and it's at Sterling Club, and Sterling Club is gorgeous. Like it's the most amazing place I've been to. Like they have like massage, like they have their gym. They have masseuse. I'm like, okay. I want. Can I have some whiskey? Like, can I go? And so it's a Halloween party, and I wore a Scooby Doo costume. Now, when I say Scooby Doo, I bought it at the costume store. I tried it on, and I wear an XL. It was a large, so I bought it. It has a large Scooby head, and it's really awkwardly tight on the crotch. So I wore that night, and my girlfriend was an American Girl doll. She dressed up like an American Girl doll, which is great. And we went in there, partied up, and Wayne Newton was the night's attendant.
Ooh.
Entertainment, like for me, I'm like, oh wait, what?
Yeah,
like we were watching. It was when the Nats won the World Series. Actually, I watched the Nats win the World Series with one of my best friend's brothers. And then we had a skeleton key to this special whiskey room, and we got into the whiskey like idiots. And then we walked out, and there's Wayne Newton.
Nice.
Singing.
All 5'4" of them?
All feminine. He's so feminine.
But he's like
but he's still masculine, though. He's still masculine. But
he's like 5'4" or something, isn't he? I know Tom Jones is like ridiculously short.
So good. Yeah. Like he was incredible. Like it was. And I was wearing a Scooby-Doo outfit, so I couldn't even high-five him.
Well, the second story I'll tell about my first trip to Vegas. So walking down the street, and this is when Treasure Island first opened with the pirate ship show. You know, where they had the pirates fighting and the explosions and all that other crap. This is around the time that first opened. So,
oh shit, Pitching Ninja like my post.
Oh, nice.
About how Scott Boras is good for baseball.
Yeah. So I'm walking down the street with my mom, and I need some. Here, I can use this. And you know how the guys are out there?
Oh, the flappers. The fucking
yeah.
Look at my porno.
Right. Well,
and they make like more money than I make as a teacher every night. So,
well, the guy does the slap and hands me one. Now, mind you, I'm walking with my mom, and I don't know what he just handed me.
They tried to hand my niece. She was
so I look at it. So I look at it, and I turned about 10 shades of red, and my mother is laughing her ass off because she knows exactly what it is, and she thinks it's hysterical that I'm embarrassed by it.
I knew what it was, and I smacked them with their own shit. Like.
I frankly think she probably paid the guy to do it just to bust my balls. But
so for all 13 of you, I tell you right now, okay, all 12 of you now, somebody left. Come to Vegas. Come to Vegas. Come to Vegas. Come to Vegas. We have 200, maybe 300 new cases a day locally. Everybody's getting vaccinated. Like everybody, it's like vaccination, like nation over here. Come to Vegas and party up. March Madness.
And I've been out there for March Madness. It's a fun time.
Get out here. This
Super
is the
Bowl
most
is a fun time,
discounted
too.
March Madness you'll ever experience. Do you want $2 beers in Vegas? This year is the time. Sorry. I have to say this. Come to Vegas. Plan ahead. On May 1st, Vegas opens up to the local government. The Nevada policy lets the Vegas government choose its COVID policy on May 1st.
Wow.
So if you plan a visit after May 1st,
It's party
you're going
time?
to get the approach from the lady that said she wanted to be the test case for herd immunity. So it'll be open. Come to Vegas.
That's
Get
another
here.
story I could tell you.
We got minor league baseball too.
Yes, I was
Come to
at
Vegas. Party.
Yeah. I was at the Rio, and I was there for a bachelor party. And I was in Vegas for a bachelor party, not at the
I
Rio.
want Vegas stories. Give me Vegas stories.
Yeah. So we decided to go to Rio and had the all-you-can-eat seafood buffet. Yes.
They have one of the best buffets in Vegas.
Yes.
True.
And this is when they still had the shuttle running from Harrah's to the Rio.
Because the Rio had, again, the best buffet in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we there's 10 of us. We eat dinner. After dinner, everyone's like, okay, I'm going to hit blackjack tables. I'm going to hit craps. I'm going to hit roulette. So on and so everyone disperses.
Answer is 3 years out. 3 years.
5 years.
2017.
I say 5.
I mean, 2000. What is that? What's 2024?
I say 5 years. So I say 2026. And just an FYI for you, there will be a Super Bowl in Vegas in 25 or 26.
20. We're gonna get 23. There's that blank space. We're getting the blank space.
No, aren't you getting the draft in 23?
No. The Super Bowl. There's a Super Bowl blank. Hold on. Super Bowl.
I was told it's 25 or 26.
Oh, no. Hold on.
Because the draft
there's something in the middle. There's a blank. And they're going to give the Vegas the blank.
National championship football game.
It's 2024 or 2023. Hold on.
Because UNLV will also be playing football in that stadium.
Well, I mean, they're going to be having football in that stadium. I don't know about playing.
There will be bowl games in that stadium. But I think 5 years the A's will be in Vegas.
Oh, it's sooner. 2024. 2024.
Some people were saying the White Sox would wind up in Vegas, which I think would be hysterical based on White Sox history.
2024 in Vegas will be the Super Bowl. That's it. That'll be it. But it doesn't matter because we're Bear fans. So when will the Bears be in the Super Bowl?
When is the next time that all the planets are aligned together? Okay, let me ask this question. Who's going to win a title first? The White Sox, the Bears, the Cubs, the Bulls, the Blackhawks?
Cubs. But I don't mean that like as a troll.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that as they have more money. Like in 2 years. If the White Sox don't win it in 2 years, the Cubs are going to spend enough to get one.
That's a fair point. I
got 2 years.
I've said this before. I honestly believe Tony La Russa's hiring is Jerry's endgame. I think Jerry wants to win in the next year or two, and then he's getting out.
I'll be honest. If you're a Hawks fan, just take the Stanley Cup, put it like 4 years down the road.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, no. Bears aren't going to the Super Bowl for a while. I have a feeling that this season is going to be
Sox or Cubs.
Yeah, I have a feeling this season's going to be a flaming pile of dog you know what, and they're going to clean house. And that's why part of the reason why I'm so concerned about them trading all these draft picks to try and get a one year Band-Aid when they should be getting a tourniquet, and setting the franchise back even further for the next person who has to come in and clean up the mess.
I don't think the Bears are that fucked. I think
they are. I do.
I think the Sox are where they are one piece away, so that makes them 100% favorite.
Yeah. The thing with the Sox, I agree. It's like a 2-3 year window max.
God, I love that hat.
I think the contention window.
That hat is so fucking sick. Pitching Ninja.
The pitching ninja hat, yeah.
So
and
good.
this isn't the this isn't the snapback. It's a fitted.
No. By the way, I do appreciate snapbacks though.
I'm not a snapback fan.
Mesh snapbacks though. Snapbacks with fabric, fuck yourself. You suck. give me a mesh snapback that like a trucker hat. Shoo.
Not a fan.
That's why that KB hat is so sweet. That KB 17 thing.
Oh,
I'm picking
yeah,
up tomorrow.
posted
The snapback mesh. Mike knew.
Let's see. Never should have kept a front off that as lame duck. I absolutely agree, Yumper. I think my concern is that they are going to make moves for the short term and set the franchise back even further. And I'm talking about Pace and Nagy.
Agree.
Hey, I got someone who agrees with me about La Russa and Jerry. That's shocking. And the one thing I'll say, I respect everyone having an opinion on Twitter. I really do. But if you really want to be respected by having an opinion on Twitter, stick with it. This is one of the reasons why I respect the hell out of Ken WO.
Yep. He holds this shit. Hey, by the way, that's my guy.
Because he ain't afraid to give a hot take.
Nope.
And then he ain't afraid to stand by what he said. Now, you can disagree with him, and Lord knows I've disagreed with him about a lot of things. But I will never criticize him for having a hot take, and I will never criticize him for not sticking to what he believes. And he sits there and he still gets mad about Scott Podsednik hitting the home run in Game 2.
Yep.
So of course, me being the person that I am, that's just more fuel for the fire to rub it in. Like, greatest moment in Sox history, Podsednik hitting the Game 2 homer.
I feel like Rudy and you should go on I feel like you're nibbling on my ear. Well, hold on. Do it again. Do what you did. Nibble. Oh, Mike Tyson shit. Look at that. Oh, wait, hold on. Go there. Right there. Now bite it.
What?
My ear. Other side. It's hard to do like the left and right? But you were biting in my ear. Sorry. That was great. Rude's right. You're right, Pete. The fuck? I have no disagreements.
Rude's my man.
100%.
Yeah. And I'm with you. I'm not a snapback fan either.
I love snapback mesh, man. God, it feels like I'm like in third grade little league. Like in third grade little league, we all got snapback mesh.
I got a melon head, so snapbacks are a little hard for me to wear.
I have a metal head. I have a weird. My head's tall. I have a tall head.
I'm 7 7/8.
Well, I'm 6'2" with a 8,000-inch head. It's terrible.
Zoe talks about him being a melon head. He's a pencil head.
He's a pencil. His shit's not nearly as big as our gourds. We got gourds.
Well,
we got gourds.
I say my head's so big that it's pushing the hair out because there's so much that's stored up.
My head's so big I don't even wear a hat. Sorry. Am I wearing a hat? Nope.
I have to cover because then it looks like I got a halo with
I'm
the
trying to block my 5 head and my wrinkles. Like, because this is my burrowed. I have the what is it called? A burrowed brow or a furrowed brow. Everything I look at is this. I'm like, I hate life. Here's me. I'm shocked. So it doesn't matter. But you, that was actually, you have less hair than me.
Yes, I
do. Or it's blonde. Are you blonde? Are you natural blonde?
I am a natural blonde.
Okay, so you're fucked anyway. Like, you can't even explain it unless you dyed your shit.
I am a towhead.
Yeah. But you had straight hair, didn't you?
Yes.
Yes, you did.
Hey, let me tell you, man.
All my best friends from high school had the best hair in high school.
I'll tell you this. When I was in high school, I had it feathered, parted down the middle, rocket.
Yes,
I had the business up front and like a loud dinner in the rear. Not the full party, but like a loud dinner.
that works. I had the I don't know what was 95. Actually wore
the George Clooney Caesar cut then.
Bro, yeah, I did. And they also, so my best friend's brother was older. He was a 91 grad, and he had these jeans that were airbrushed with like Young Guns and like Pretty Woman, all 90s pop culture shit. So I wore that in high school, thinking that was cool.
Yeah, I created my own Def Leppard Joe Elliott jeans from the Pour Some Sugar on Me video.
Okay.
Because I went to go buy a pair, and they're like,
"You gotta do what you gotta do."
Those are like $200. I'm like, screw that, I'll make my own.
These airbrush pants were like glorious too. Like the Young Guns were actually like, it looked like, yeah, Julia Roberts. Her head looked like Julia Roberts, but yeah, I don't want to wear jeans with I wore that to high school for one day.
One day, you were humiliated and never did it again.
One day, I was like, "Oh, I'm not that cool." They're like, "Fiddler, calm the fuck down." I'm like, "All right." That's why next week when we have Justin Roman on our podcast, we're gonna have somebody that actually knew me in high school that actually can testify to my dorkage. But he's actually way more successful than me. So,
I know that Zoe told you this the time I was on the podcast with you guys. We do know a lot of the same mutual people.
I think so. You guys went to the same high school, right?
No.
Well, actually, hold on. Little Yumper, I'm going to bust Zoe out. You guys went to the same high school and Zoe didn't know you.
Oh, him and Yumper did?
He was like big league. Poor little Yumper. Limber's like,
wait, Zoe
we talked in the hallway, asshole.
Wait, Zoe big league Yumper?
Well, no, not really. Like not intentionally. He didn't know little Yumper. I didn't know a lot of freshmen in my high school too, but apparently Zoe was big time. A year older. So there it is. A year. Can we get little? I want little Yumper's story. I want to know the Zoe story. I want to know how like little Yumper had his lunch stolen by Zoe.
What school was it? Was it Rice?
Rita.
Oh, he went to Rita?
Is it Rita?
No,
wait.
Yumper, let me ask you. Did you go to the Rita on 63rd and Claremont, or did you go to the Rita that was Quigley or Squiggly Seminary South?
I'm just going to.
Because Yumper, I
banged out some of the Catholic school girls.
Hey, Yumper, I grew up at 60th and Fairfield, and I went to Gage Park High School. That's why I know all this stuff.
Yumper?
Oh, Yumper, you there?
My man. He's my man. I'm going to say this right now. If I can go on record.
Went to so you went to the Squiggly South, Rita.
Yumper is my favorite. Like if I can endorse a follow for anybody that of our 6 people that are watching right now, follow Yumper.
We were up to double digits at one point, weren't we?
We did. We're drunk.
Yumper grew up in back. My grandmother lived at 4838 South Wallace.
We got family here.
Mm-hmm.
We got unknown family.
Yes.
We're bridging gaps here. And we only have 8 followers.
Oh,
share this shit on social media.
Hey,
wait. What time? Wait. Hold on. Oh, Beef. Where's Beef at right now?
They're on.
Are they on? Let's shut the fuck up and get on. Can we share this? I'm not stealing no thunder. I'm going to that chat room. I want.
Oh wow. 4815 South Throop. Nice.
Hold on. Can we don't leave this. Don't leave this. We're gonna actually do this. We're gonna try this. We're gonna link our stupid comments to Beef's. We're gonna try and figure out how to they haven't started.
Yeah, I got a notification saying they did.
I got pure 24 hours of pure white screen. Let me refresh. Hold on. I got Mortal Kombat. Oh, that's my high school account. Sorry, I'm a teacher. There it is. Oh, these motherfuckers. All right. Here we go. I'm going to share the link. Support our drunk uncles. Yeah,
Yeah, I got to.
Here's the drunk uncles.
Yep.
Join us.
I'm turning them on.
How do we make this almost like we're watching like like when you're watching a movie and you judge the people you're watching.
Oh yeah,
Cub Zone, thank you so much.
Oh, we got a sports mockery in there?
Do we? I don't know. I'm the king of their YouTube, so I'm
turning. One of the nice features of Apple TV is one of the nice features of Apple TV is that I can watch them on my TV. But it's also a scary sight to see the three of them on my TV. And I text My Sock Summer during the thing just to give him grief about something.
Oh no, I just said we'll quit our podcast to join MSS to whine like a bitch.
Oh wait, I like Rude's idea.
Wait, what did he say?
Keep this going and watch into their show.
I don't have to close it, right? How much is this bandwidth? I'm gonna turn off my cam though, so I'm not like a total fat fuck.
Wait.
Like, because when you like turn to like type, it's like double chin. I mean, I can take it off, but I'm good with it too.
LaRussa, because it's a pandemic, we can get sick. I don't want to do that. All right, I'm not saying
they're talking about me on there.
It's a good thing or a bad
MSS is like he's ranting.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Hold on, where am I going? Hold on.
But I'm also not going
to. That's how Jerry operates.
Well, I can't believe our general manager, who obviously knows how Jerry operates, has been there for how many years, Lo?
I see the UV.
20. I mean, 2003. It's not like he hasn't seen this happen before. This isn't his first situation dealing with Jerry in a situation like this. He knows how this works.
In sport.
Go MSS.
Get up and leave.
Is anybody else echoing?
He could get in. He might
What's that?
Seeing this out.
Are you echoing?
Yes. I don't think
like echo.
Really excited.
No, I'm not getting an echo.
I don't think
I hear My Sock Summer and then I hear death.
Yeah, that's because I have him on my TV.
Yeah, he's ranting like a fucking motherfucker.
Yeah.
I love you, My Sock Summer, but shut the fuck up.
Based on what you think happened, I think is stupid. And
he's ranting about LaRussa, and part of it's my tweet.
Well, I'm going to mention Scott Stat.
They did this. This wasn't like it was just a snap like that. Jerry comes in and goes, "Hey, I hired LaRussa. Go deal." Like him and Kenny sat down with them and hired him. So, I mean, that's basically what it is. I'm sure I have some more stuff that I wrote.
There's Husky Bardo. Husky Bardo! Is he my like soulmate?
I was just disgusted. I just don't like the fact that it's like if I would take it a lot better if it was a Sox beat writer coming at this and saying these things, right?
Oh, he's going off about Danny Parkins on the score.
And that's what he was trying to do. He's like, I know I can rile up 50% of the Twitter fan base by saying these things. And that's what he did.
We're drinking alcohol.
What's that?
Should we share? I'm going to share this. Hold on. Can I share this?
I don't know. Try.
Try. Chrome tab, share audio.
You know where to find
Is the audio going?
Just ridiculous thing you did. And I would love to have a chat with you.
So
audio good?
Motherfucker.
So
can you hear it?
Before you get into
it, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we can talk.
Does the My Sock Summer calling him Perkins remind you of like that old trick, like when you meet someone's like you meet someone's boyfriend or something and you call him by the wrong name?
You knock him down a peg on purpose?
Like Dusty Baker when he was calling Bryce Harper Royce,
which was clearly on purpose to like, you're like the superstar, but let me knock you down a little bit so the other guys feel like, okay, you know.
That's all I could
think. Jim Everett thing with
all I could think when you were saying Perkins. Well, no, see the Chris Everett, Jim Everett thing's different.
Is this
that was meant to be an
it was a dig.
This feels meta.
Yours is kind of like I don't even know who you are.
You and I are watching.
So I don't know.
podcast.
Did I mess up your name?
Well,
I don't know who
podcast.
you are.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what it felt like.
See, socks.
Okay,
And
the
MS
level
is
set.
like
Where do I
chugging.
start? So, I mean, this all stems from an article. So Bob Nightingale wrote an article. The article actually is peppered with Tony La Russa quotes. So when the genesis of this came out, that where it says like Artie Moreno didn't tell anyone and Jerry Reinsdorf didn't tell anyone.
I just
From
typed
reading
in
it, for me, the tenor
the
was
chat. I don't know
that's
what that
La
does.
Russa believed.
So
Yeah.
I'm
La Russa
learning.
believed he was telling these trusted friends, and they were kept quiet about it. As kind
It's
of
now.
trusted.
Oh shit! That's
But
sports mockery.
When the interview
Shit.
happened,
I gotta
you could
delete
tell
Whoops.
Yeah.
Bob Nightingale
I'll
doesn't
delete that one.
necessarily talk
Oopsie.
to
But
Rickon and
Pinwheels?
Williams all the time.
Totally
he
fan
fucking
side
know,
for the one.
really. And that's where he backtracked in the actual interview.
Sorry.
He thought they didn't know, but then he realized like he didn't fucking know when they found out about this and kind of when it came to their consciousness. At that point, that the interview kind of unraveled.
He's like
As my Sox Summer said, the interview was a good idea in my opinion. Like
he could play guitar.
kudos to Shane Reardon for
He
lining
probably
that
has a
up. I
good
think
voice.
Shane's the EP on that show. He
No,
lined that up. It was a
leads
great
there.
idea.
Yep.
And then when they got into the questions, Danny Parkins just tried to lead him into all the answers he wanted. And Bob materially didn't have those answers. He just was kind of like, I don't know. Or like they tried to lead him into, don't you think it's crazy for an owner to like step over his executives and make a move like that? And he goes, it happens more than you think. Like, and really the listening audience probably was not surprised by that either. So it felt like, as much as I agree that it is a story, I think it is definitely a story. And as much as like, if people want to feel sorry for the executives in that situation because the owner usurped their power, that's fine. I got no problem with that. But it's there's a lot of kind of unknowable stuff in there, and a lot of stuff where like we're making large leaps, like an owner of something just get like they're an absentee owner, kind of like they just hand it off and you never see, what's going on at all. An interesting part of it to me is when the first tweet came out. Danny Parkins tweeted about the article originally, and Herb Lawrence kind of went after that tweet and was like, if Han wants to, if he wants to stand up for this, he could just quit. He could just say, you know what, this was too much, I'm out. And they had a good discussion on the air kind of about that situation. And Matt Spiegel kind of was the reason. He's like, certain jobs, you got to eat some shit. He didn't say shit because you're on the air, but he's like, you have things that you have to just put up with. And and he said something like, if you're going to be in the bunk bed with John Paxson where you never get fired, sometimes these are the things that you have to kind of deal with. So I thought that was hilarious. And Spiegel's great. I hadn't listened to him in a long time, but then
How do I make
on
some
this,
of
he's really good, sharp.
What?
But Herb Lawrence
The
was
center.
hitting on
There it
something.
is.
There you go.
Oh, there it is.
Chicago media does not go
We're
after
commenting
White Sox.
on Beef Loaf's broadcast.
They don't
This is excellent.
put anything on him, really. And, he's called him Teflon Han in the past, and it brought up something
Dave.
from I love Nassim Taleb,
You there?
Treasy, as
Pete?
you already know.
Yeah, I'm here.
About this.
And
I might have
Taleb
to get this
calls-
in the drinking
Is this
rules,
working?
actually.
To put this in there. Taleb calls
It's
this
really
a Bob
quiet.
Rubin trade, okay? And a Bob Rubin trade, the generalized Bob Rubin trade is named after Robert Rubin, a rent seeker who was a boss of the U.S. Treasury and subsequently went to Citibank, collected $120 million in bonuses, compensation, and then when the 2008 crash came, he had hidden all that risk. He was materially responsible for a lot of it. He got to keep his money, and us taxpayers got to bail out the government. So it's like you only get the upside, downside, and that's kind of what Herbie was saying about the way the White Sox GM is treated in the public. I agree with it. I couldn't agree with it more. I think it's clearly the truth. But I agree with My Sox Summer. This is a story, but they tried to bark up, like they just did a bad job of the interview. The interview sucked. Like it was just a bad interview. They could have done it well. They just sucked at it, in my opinion.
It's not just that it was they didn't do it well. There was just nothing there to get. Like, and you brought up something that, and I don't want to say your point because I was told not to do that last podcast. But like, it's like every organization has a wide open story, right? They tell everybody everything.
By the way,
and when Bob,
my sock
like,
summer is
they
amazing.
said that to Bob, and Bob's like, actually, there's not
Sorry.
many owners that talk to me.
He's the wisest
that's
of the
not
bunch.
a unique. It's not that
He's
unique.
just angry.
And he said, honestly, as an owner,
He's
could
the most
hire
laid
all
back
three
in
of
all
us to be a
actuality.
GM. He's the
Okay,
owner.
so
That's what he does.
Can we call
That's
this
what he
like
can
Cub
do.
fan?
You know,
Cub
and they're
fan
both like,
judging White Sox
you
108?
know, it's like, well, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, a lot of the
I love
questions
these
weren't
guys.
well
It's
founded.
goofy.
My
It's
Sox
Hey,
summer.
Hulkamaniac
The
with
questions
his
weren't well
porno.
founded, so it wasn't like
Fucking
they had a
Ron
good
Jeremy
understanding
ass.
of how this situation works.
I love him, but he's Ron
Across
Jeremy.
Major League Baseball, they just wanted to defend
He's
one
not
guy.
Antonio
and
Banderas.
make
He's
the-
Ron
and then they
fucking.
kind of screwed up by that because
Ron.
the guy they interviewed had better knowledge of that and was able to tell them no,
That
that's
you-
not the
again,
case.
he's-
You know, so
there's the
I
UV
don't know.
again.
Like I said, it was a big nothing burger to me, but I could see where it would
I just
piss
didn't
you off.
realize that Teresi
and
was like
it's
a
news.
guitarist
I agree.
stud.
It's a story. It's
He's a
news,
bass player.
whatever.
And he has
at the
like
end of
rock star
their little
hair.
Podcast.
Yes.
He
hides it.
Am I crazy? Is this
Like-
not story? And what? And his
Who
buddy
else is
goes,
in here? 'Cause I
no,
need- I
no.
need- this
He's like,
is
you're
amazing.
trained to spot stories, not just.
But
You're not
Teresi
just a
is-
regular schlub.
I saw his
You're
guitar,
trained
like
to spot
his-
what's news versus this. It's like
He's
you dumb
Chicago
fuck. It's
Cubby
not,
Bear
because if it was, we would
91.
be up in arms about it.
100%.
You know, we know Rick Hahn. If he was, if like,
and they're brothers.
I feel like
didn't
Rick
know
Hahn
that.
has big enough balls that he can step the fuck
Now I
up
do.
and get the fuck
'Cause-
out of there if he doesn't like what's going on. Like, I don't know if you necessarily agree with it, but like you said, sometimes you got to eat some shit. And you're in a job and you're working for a guy that's brought 7 fucking championships to a fucking city. Sometimes you may be like, you know what? Maybe he kind of knows what he's doing just a little bit.
Yep.
Like,
Well,
I might
and-
not
and-
agree with
and-
it, but
and
like,
my
he
Sox
seems to
summer-
bought on now.
My
Bought in
Sox
now.
summer, Bob
I love
Nightingale
it.
said as much. He said Rick Hahn is the one who talked Jerry Reinsdorf into the rebuild. So he used his big balls and got them to change course there. Okay, he should
My
get credit
Sox
for
summer
that.
was
Like,
100%.
if we're being fair about the GM, we can hit him when he does fuck up. But he changed the course and was able to get them down this path. He has some pull. I mean,
Yeah.
people on Twitter try to paint the picture, or a lot of people do, or pseudo media people paint the picture of it's never this guy's fault. I think that guy would like to take fault. I think that guy feels
Oh
he
shit!
has big
No, I meant to
sack.
post
He'll
that
take
from my
fault when he's
account. Shit, sorry.
Yeah,
No,
I think
Uh,
the
delete.
interesting thing here.
Okay,
is,
delete it. Nope,
is
I
that,
can't.
you know,
There
we're
it
kind of
is.
looking at this
Too late.
to me in a strange way. And now this
that
is
was
not to
that was
minimize-
for me though. That
Oh,
was a
okay.
KFidds
Right.
post
I
that was
don't wanna
supposed to. I don't know how to operate all the.
That's not what I'm trying
There's
to
too
say.
many.
But
Too
if
many.
you're Rick Hahn, the thing that would be more offensive to you personally, because it affects your job,
Recon.
is to be overstepped for who they're going to hire as a manager, not
What are we
the
watching? What are you guys
bizarre
watching? What do you guys see?
repercussions of
Their
the
feet.
DUI that manager had.
You're seeing their feed, right?
Because
So
Yeah.
like,
that's not going
is
to
this full feed? Full feed, but
as
vocal.
much their ability to
Is it
win
full screen?
games, to make the playoffs
Full.
and so on.
I just see
Things
their,
that keep
But them,
Rick
right?
Hahn employed
In the chat?
after
Yeah.
having pushed for this rebuild,
Mhm.
right? So
Not us.
who still got on?
if Rick Hahn's not
I
pissed
want
about
to. I
that,
just want to make sure this is
about
their
the
podcast.
getting a manager thrown on him, which I'm sure he was a
You
little
can see their
pissed about,
podcast.
but he seems to
Yes.
have gotten over that. They're
Okay.
they're working past that.
He seems like he's over it, 100%.
Players
does not
seem that they're
seem-
over it too.
Just bought beef out.
This does not seem
Not
like
his
it
fault.
would
He was
have
born that way.
more effect than that. Like just to me, it doesn't. Yeah, sure. It was probably he probably got blindsided by it.
Wait,
He's probably really pissed that,
Smaller
that it
screen?
happened and that he had to deal
What's
with
yeah.
it. Like
Smaller
that's probably
screen now.
what he'd be more pissed about. He had to deal with that.
No,
shit,
same as before.
right? But he dealt with
Yep.
it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like
It's over.
it's not like Rick Hahn is going to continue to take questions about the incident all
Yeah, I
year.
That's what we see, right? But we're on the
If they
side.
lose, he's going to be taking
I
questions.
see you on the
about
side. Yes.
Why that old fuck batted someone fourth that he shouldn't have,
Yeah, that's
right?
exactly-
like
yeah.
that's what he's going to have to deal with. And so
I
he's,
didn't
if
realize
he's
Teresi
pissed,
was such
he's
a
pissed
good
about
guitar
that.
player.
He's not
Bassist?
pissed about the
Right.
DUI. And again, this
What
is
did he
not
play?
to minimize the DUI.
No.
He shouldn't do that.
What's that?
Stupid
Right.
thing.
What did Teresi play? It
And yeah.
bass, guitar.
If Rick Hahn
Bass.
had all the
Bass.
information,
Oh,
he
bass
might not
player
have
is an
hired
easy life.
That's
That's Adam Clayton.
But guess what?
Zoe.
He was getting fucking hired, so it doesn't
I'm
matter.
gonna,
And
I'm
that's
gonna
the whole
stop
point.
because I'm getting
Like
like
this was Jerry's
freezing up on
hired.
this.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna-
Jerry knew it.
I'm gonna.
Jerry
hold on.
still hired the guy. It's on Jerry, right?
Yeah.
But Rick's got to still field the team. He's still
There we go. All right.
Yeah.
So that was fun, though.
Yes. Absolutely.
Sorry, guys. That was Their podcast is way funner.
Yeah.
So,
No, no,
join
no.
the chat room. Let's go.
All right. Hey,
Love you guys.
I had a great time. Thanks for.
There's 6 of you still around. Whoever these 6 are.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Seriously, let's do like post podcast to bridge this gap, but we'll just do it better next time. This is a good test, though.
If you guys have ideas of what you want to hear, feel free.
I'm trying to sneak like Pete into just talking because I love talking sports with Pete. So
we could talk about Bears next week.
Every time on these Thursday nights, I won. This is my man.
All right, guys. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.